Chapter 559. The Distant Xuanzhou, 1. Being stared at, Di Tian and Gong Sun Haoming's hearts trembled. It was as though they had been seen through. He was afraid. A martial saint was destroyed with a single sword strike. What else could he use to fight with the Xuanyuan family? The Xuanyuan family had never brought out a genius, and everyone thought that the Xuanyuan family had declined. But now, someone casually pulled out a person and beat all the geniuses like dogs. Even a martial saint powerhouse was destroyed, and he still wanted to compete with the Xuanyuan family for the world. It was simply a joke. Countless geniuses had been thoroughly defeated. A genius was still a genius, but he was not in the same world as Li Lingtian. This was a blow to him. Li Lingtian did not care about that. In a flash, he returned to the corridor. "Grandfather, Ling Tian will go back first." He bowed to Xuanyuan Tianming and flew toward the Heavenly River Temple with Tang Qingyue and the others. His elegant figure was embraced by 11 beautiful girls, making people envious. Countless low-level martial artists worshipped him to the extreme. This was a strong person, a true strong person. Li Lingtian, Tang Qingyue, and the others sat down to rest after they returned to the Divine Moon Palace. After all, he had used up a lot of energy to cast the 9 heaven stars, and his meridians had been damaged. He needed to recuperate, but this time, he didn't need the help of Shun Mei and the others. Tianhe Saint City was in an uproar. Xuanyuan Lingtian of the Xuanyuan family was the young master of the Xuanyuan family. It was a world-shaking and peerless move. It defeated a genius with one move and shocked the world with one sword. There was also that peerless beauty who was the topic of discussion among countless experts. For a moment, the entire Heavenly River Sacred City was talking about Xuanyuan Lingtian and his wife. Without a doubt, Xuanyuan Lingtian had become the most powerful monster in Tianhe Sacred City, a chasm that countless super geniuses could never cross. The 4 great clans had truly quieted down. Li Lingtian's appearance had made them realize the true might of the Xuanyuan family. It was something that they could not surpass. In Tianhe Sacred City, everyone was curious about who that martial saint powerhouse was and why he would kill the genius of the Xuanyuan family in Tianhe Sacred City. Only the Di family understood that they had suffered unspeakably. Also, Gong Sun Hao of the Gong Sun family knew that the martial saint was from the Di family. "Brat, your 9 heaven stars and heavenly sword fusion was too brilliant. I didn't expect you to have such a powerful technique." Xuanyuan Tianming and a few elders gathered in the main hall of the Heavenly River Temple. Li Lingtian, Tang Qingyue, and the rest were naturally there as well. Xuanyuan Tianming was extremely excited. It was as if the person on the stage today was him. That domineering and powerful aura made people's blood boil. It was just luck, just luck. Ever since Li Lingtian was tricked by Xuanyuan Tianming, he had not been kind to the old man. This wasn't to say that he didn't respect Xuanyuan Tianming, but that the two of them spoke more naturally. They didn't care about anything else at all and said whatever they had to say without any restraint. Xuanyuan Tianming felt much more relaxed. "Did you see through the identity of the martial saint who was killed?" Xuanyuan Tianming pondered for a moment before shifting the topic to the MAM topic. Although the Xuanyuan family wasn't afraid of the 4 great families, since someone dared to target the Xuanyuan family, they had to be punished. Although Li Lingtian did not pursue the matter, anyone who dared to offend the Xuanyuan family would definitely suffer in the future. The people of the Di family are also using the hegemonic qi of heaven and earth. Li Lingtian did not hesitate to reveal the warrior sage powerhouse's identity. The warrior sage had a mask that could hide his face, but it could not conceal his cultivation base and aura. It was impossible to hide one's identity among experts unless one changed their aura like Li Lingtian did. However, how many people in this world could do it? Even those who cultivated both magic and martial arts might not be as easy as him. One had to know that the cultivation techniques he cultivated were the holy scriptures of the same race. Even if others wanted to doubt him, they would not believe their own thoughts. After all, the pure aura could not be changed just like that. If Li Lingtian were to change his aura and turn into a demon, he would definitely become a powerful demon, a true demon powerhouse. If he used dragon energy, he would become a true dragon clan powerhouse. By using the heaven and earth reincarnation technique and the 5 elements will of the way, one would be a true human expert. As long as he did not change his aura in front of others, no one would suspect his identity. Otherwise, the 9-demon venerable would not have recognized him in the Heaven Ascension Demon Tower. Li Lingtian sensed a familiar aura when he executed the Sky Sword Unity to kill the martial saint. It was Di Yi's aura. In other words, this martial saint powerhouse cultivated the hegemonic qi of heaven and earth. A heaven-grade cultivation technique would not be passed on to outsiders. Naturally, this person was also a super expert of the Di family. Humph. A mere Di family dares to have designs on the Shenyuan family. They really don't know their limits. Shenyuan Tianming scoffed coldly. He did not doubt Li Lingtian's judgment at all. It was a sign of his trust in a powerhouse. Grandpa, after we cultivate for a period of time, we will go out to strengthen our strength. This time, we might not be able to come back. Grandpa, don't worry. Li Lingtian suggested so that he would not have to inform Shenyuan Tianming when he was about to leave. And, oh, it's a good thing to go out and gain experience. This old man believes in your steadiness and strength. All right, I just happen to have something for you to do. I didn't expect you to come knocking on my door. Shenyuan Tianming was stunned for a moment before his face lit up with excitement. The other elders laughed as well. Li Lingtian immediately felt that he had been tricked. He was sure to be tricked again. Besides, it was definitely not easy to be tricked this time. All the outer sect elders knew that, but he didn't know that he was really tricked by Shenyuan Tianming every time. What is it? Li Lingtian glanced at Shenyuan Tianming warily. Even if he knew that he wouldn't do anything about the Shenyuan family, he still had to be on guard against Shenyuan Tianming, that old fox, in case he was tricked and laughed at. Is the old man that scary? It's about the southern Xian continent. The southern Xian continent is a world of countries. There are a total of the martial arts empire, 36 kingdoms, and 3,000 countries. Among the 3,000 countries, one of them is the Qing Xian kingdom, which belongs to the Shenyuan family. However, this power is getting weaker and weaker. The pressure we are facing is increasing. A secret letter has been sent from below asking if we should give up the Qing Xian kingdom to preserve our strength. Although the Qing Xian kingdom is only 3,000 kingdoms, it is still the size of the Azure continent. It is even more powerful than the Azure continent. Therefore, we don't want to give up. I wanted to send an elder there, but it's useless for an elder to stay there. Instead, it'll exhaust our forces here. If you want to go there to train, that place is not bad. It's definitely beyond your imagination. Shenyuan Tianming's smile disappeared as he spoke seriously. He had a deep understanding of the Xuanzhou continent. The extent of its power was not much different from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Although the Tianhe zone used to be the center of the 4 continents, it was only a special place and not very powerful. It was just like Hidden Dragon Island in Green Island. After the incident, the Tianhe zone became useless and completely faded out of the eyes of the experts. Furthermore, countless years ago, the Black Continent was one of the strongest in the divine martial continent. It was not something the Azure continent could compare to. That place was the true heaven and land of the strong. Even if the Shenyuan family was placed in the Black Continent, it would be useless, let alone an elder. However, Li Lingtian's existence was more useful than an elder. First of all, Li Lingtian was lucky, talented and had a strong style of handling matters. The main reason was that Li Lingtian's future was more promising than any of the elders and he was the best candidate. Grandpa really knows me well. After I settle some things, I'll go to the Black Continent to take a look. Li Lingtian was overjoyed. The more powerful a place was, the more he yearned for it. Although he was powerful, he knew his limits. Only through the experience of blood and fire could he truly become powerful. Okay, but there's basically no one who can help you in Xuanzhou. You can only rely on your own efforts. Even with your war god, it would take decades to get to the Black Continent from here. Also, the sea area is unpredictable. Even a martial saint wouldn't dare to cross it easily. More importantly, the Xian continent is one of the two independent continents of the divine martial continent. There is no teleportation formation, so you can only fly. The Xuanyuan family can only contact the Xian state once every few years, and we have to pay a bloody price. It can also be said that the Xuanyuan family and the Xian state have basically broken off their connection because it has been too long. I remember that before the Qing Xian kingdom was established, there were a total of 8 martial saint elders who went there. However, only 3 of them managed to reach the Xian continent. You'll have to figure out how to get there yourself. If you can't, don't go to Xuanzhou. Xuanyuan Tianming said earnestly. Although he wanted Li Ling Tian to go to the mystic continent for training, it was too difficult for him to do so. He would not have let Li Ling Tian take the risk if he was not completely confident. This isn't too difficult, but Ling Tian wants to know if the green mystic fruit has the core of the world-crossing array. Li Ling Tian was shocked as well. It was extremely difficult for Xuanzhou to go to Xuanzhou. However, he would have to fly for decades. He would rather die than do so. Not only would it waste time, but the sea realm was also filled with dangers. If he was not careful, he would die in the sea realm. Moreover, if he was allowed to fly in the sea for decades, he might as well kill him. Thinking of the world-crossing grand array, if there was an array core, it was not impossible for him to cross the world once. You want to cross over? No, this won't do. This old man won't agree to it. Xuanyuan Tianming shook his head like a rattledrum, and his eyes revealed a look of fear as if he had thought of something terrifying. He could still accept flying over, but he would not agree to flying across worlds. Looking at Xuanyuan Tianming's condition, Li Ling Tian was extremely curious. What could make Xuanyuan Tianming so afraid? Chapter 560. Before leaving, Grandpa, are you saying that an ancient mighty figure has activated the heaven-locking array in the Black Continent and that we can't cross worlds? One Huangfu Yuyan looked at Xuanyuan Tianming's expression and was extremely shocked. In terms of cultivation base, she was no match for Li Ling Tian. However, she was also a martial saint powerhouse in the past. Moreover, she was a martial saint from a super family. One of the 10 martial saints of the Divine Continent had crossed over from the Divine Continent to the Green Continent. In the big families, they naturally had a wide range of knowledge and experience. They had also read a little about some ancient secrets of the Black Continent in ancient books. Now that Xuanyuan Tianming mentioned the Black Continent, he also thought of how terrifying the Black Continent was. She was Li Lingtian's wife and Xuanyuan Yingying's good sister. Naturally, she had to address Xuanyuan Tianming as her grandfather. It was natural and not pretentious at all. I forgot about you, little girl. That's right. Other places are still all right. Even the Divine Continent has ancient restrictions, but there are people who can break them. However, the Mystic Continent has always been the most mysterious place in the Divine Martial Continent. The ancient Almighty had set up a heaven-locking array in the Black Continent. It's impossible for a real heaven-locking array to cross worlds. If I forcefully cross over, I'll be courting death. When Xuanyuan Tianming heard Huangfu Yuyan's words, he was startled. He immediately remembered Huangfu Yuyan's identity. In the past, this little girl was one of the 10 martial saints of the Divine Continent. Although the 10 great martial saints were a little exaggerated, they were still the most outstanding martial saint geniuses of that generation, or perhaps that decade. As the proud daughter of a super family in the Divine Continent, she naturally knew a lot. Grandfather. Have you forgotten that Ling Tian is also a saint array master apart from being a saint alchemist? Ling Tian knows a thing or two about formations in the world. Even if it's an ancient forbidden formation. Even if there's a heaven-locking formation, I have a way to break it. Li Ling Tian chuckled with a calm expression on his face. He had never been afraid of anyone when it came to formations. As long as Qing Xian or Xian continent had the core of the formation, he would be able to cross over. I'm getting old and muddle-headed. I forgot about this matter. However, you have to be careful. In this world, many things cannot be solved by strength. I won't say anything more. I'll think of a way to contact them and have them activate the core of the formation. I'll inform you when the time comes. Xuanyuan Tianming was shocked when he heard Li Lingtian's words. He was so concerned that he forgot about Li Lingtian's identity as a holy array master. If he really was a sacred array master, he would naturally have some confidence in creating a cross-realm array and crossing over. However, he still gave Li Lingtian a few instructions as it was his habit and responsibility as an elder. Lingtian understands. Li Lingtian nodded respectfully. He knew that Shenyuan Tianming was concerned about them, or else he would not have reminded him like that. You guys can go back. You're not used to this place. Are you going to bring them all? Shenyuan Tianming waved his hand to signal Li Lingtian to leave. A young man like Li Lingtian was not used to such an occasion. In the end, his gaze fell on Tang Qingyue and the other women. He looked at Li Lingtian with a questioning gaze. Yes. Lingtian will take his leave first. Li Lingtian nodded in reply before he led Tang Qingyue and the others out of the hall. However, Shenyuan Tianming instructed Li Lingtian to bring Shenyuan Yingying along before they left. Naturally, Li Lingtian could not refuse. Furthermore, he had been satisfied with Shenyuan Yingying over the past few days. Having such a beautiful woman by his side was indeed a kind and pleasing thing. The group of beautiful women were talking happily as they surrounded Li Lingtian. Back at the Divine Moon Palace, Li Lingtian began to make plans. Since he was going to the Mystic Continent, he had to make some arrangements first. Back when he was in Green Continent, he had come to Green Continent by accident. However, this time, he was prepared to go to Black Continent, so it was naturally easier. However, in a powerful place like the Black Continent, it was natural to think of a way to survive. He could no longer be as high profile as he was now and attract everyone's attention. In the Azure Continent and the Azure Continent, no matter how high profile he was, he would not have any powerful enemies. However, it was different in the Black Continent. Naturally, Tang Qingyue and the rest were focused on their cultivation. They cultivated during the day and accompanied Li Lingtian at night. From time to time, she would follow Li Lingtian to Sky River Holy City to shop for daily necessities, clothes, and items for the wilderness. When Li Lingtian heard about Xuanzhou, he had already made up his mind. He had already made some plans on how to develop in the Xian continent. However, he had not expected that the Xian continent would be a place of great change for him. It was also a turning point that would decide the fate of the divine martial continent. As the days passed, Li Lingtian's cultivation base had also reached the peak perfection of level 3. Tang Qingyue and the others' cultivation levels also increased rapidly. As time passed, they were all filled with anticipation as they waited to go to Xuanzhou. On this day, Shenyuan Tianming's message finally arrived. The core of the array in the Xian continent's Qing Xian country had been activated, but it was in the depths of the sea, so no one knew about it. Li Lingtian was relieved when he received the news. As long as the array core existed, he would have a way to cross over. After receiving the news, Li Lingtian bid farewell to his parents before leaving Tianhe's sacred city with Tang Qingyue and the others. Li Lingtian brought Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the other two along with him, as well as Longde. Needless to say, Huangfu Yuyan and the rest had left with Li Lingtian while the rest of their relatives remained in Tianhe's sacred city. Voila, it feels so good to be out. At the edge of the heavenly river Holy City, Shenyuan Yingying came out of the divine dragon ring and waved her little hands. She looked very cute and happy. Li Lingtian looked at Shenyuan Yingying with a faint smile on his face. This little girl was always so happy, but that was only after they had gotten to know each other. After leaving the heavenly river temple, Li Lingtian disguised himself to hide his aura and flew quickly to the edge of the sea. He only called Tang Qingyue and the others out when he arrived at this remote place. Yingying, you look so happy every time I come out. Could it be because of someone? Huangfu Yuyan smiled sweetly as she looked at Shenyuan Yingying with an ambiguous gaze. Naturally, they knew about Li Lingtian and Shenyuan Yingying. There was no secret between them and Li Lingtian. They also liked Shenyuan Yingying very much. Now was a good time to tease her. Yeah, I followed Big Brother Lingtian out. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come out. Grandpa said that the outside world is too dangerous. Besides, with Sister Yuyan around, Yingying won't be bored anymore. Shenyuan Yingying was stunned for a moment, and her face immediately turned red. However, she soon realized that Huangfu Yuyan and the others were teasing her, so she immediately calmed down and said it directly. There was nothing to be shy about. She had always clung to Li Lingtian. If it were not for him, she would not have come out. This was her personality. She would not hide anything and would say whatever she wanted. She was very similar to Tang Ziming and the others. They had been together with Huangfu Yuyan and the rest for a long time, and they had become very close. It was common for them to joke around. Apart from the fact that Huangfu Yuyan and the rest were together with Li Lingtian, they basically shared everything else. However, when Shenyuan Yingying was curious, Huangfu Yuyan didn't mind mentioning it, causing Shenyuan Yingying's face to turn red. A young girl of 18 or 19 years of age was in the prime of her youth. Naturally, she was curious and afraid of such things. Let's go. Let's get on the spaceship first so that we won't be noticed by others. Li Lingtian watched as the girls huddled together and chattered non-stop. He walked up to them with a faint smile on his face. He extended his arms to hug Tang Qingyue and Huangfu Yuyan as he shouted at the girls. After saying that, he flew towards the flying ship in the sky. Long Da had already summoned the flying ship and was waiting in the air. This time, there were only him and Marshal Saint Ming Luo. On the other hand, Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the other two were cultivating with the Tier 5 and 6 peerless pills that Li Lingtian gave them. For a Marshal Saint, a Tier 5 or 6 pill would not be of much use. However, the pill refined by Li Lingtian was no exception. A peerless-grade medicinal pill refined from precious materials. Its power was absolutely even more powerful than an ordinary 7th-grade medicinal pill. Naturally, cultivating with such a pill would be extremely powerful. Moreover, Li Lingtian would give them a level 7 pill every month to cultivate. This way, their cultivation base could be improved rapidly. Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the Heavenly Demon King had reached the second firmament of the Marshal Saint realm, while Marshal Saint Yun Hao had reached the peak first firmament of the Marshal Saint realm. The three of them were delighted to submit. Not only was Li Lingtian's cultivation base heaven-defying, but his innate skills were also heaven-defying. With the four of them as guards, there was naturally no need to worry about any trouble. However, Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the other two had suppressed their cultivation to the first heaven of the Martial Emperor realm. Even so, they were still impressive existences. After all, this was a martial emperor, not a martial arts grandmaster or martial emperor. Long Da was still at the peak of Tier 7, Level 5, and was not far from breaking through. With Li Lingtian's cultivation base, no one would be able to discern his cultivation base as long as he did not make a move. In this way, the identity of Commander Long was even more obvious. As for Huangfu Yuyan and the others, it was normal for them to be martial emperors. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sound of air being torn apart rang out, and all the girls flew onto the spaceship. Although this spaceship wasn't as powerful as the War God, it was still very powerful. It had 2 floors. Li Lingtian and the rest stayed on the top floor while Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the other 3 stayed below. Li Lingtian began to arrange the 4 guards after they arrived on the spaceship. During this period of time, Ming Luo and Yun Hao will be responsible for safety. Long Da, Tian Yao. You two enter the Divine Dragon Ring to cultivate. Try to improve your cultivation before you leave. Let's go to the Azure Continent's Lingyun City first. After Li Lingtian brought Huangfu Yuyan and the others to the 2nd floor, he went down alone and began to make arrangements for the next step. Although he did not need to care about these things, Long Da's cultivation had already reached the peak. Naturally, he had to make a breakthrough. Moreover, Marshal Saint Yun Hao was more familiar with the Azure Continent and there weren't many dangers. Chapter 561. Returning to Spirituality City, 1. This subordinate will obey. Marshal Saint Ming Luo was not displeased by the way Li Lingtian addressed him. On the contrary, she was delighted. He now understood that even if he was a martial saint, it would only take Li Lingtian a blink of an eye to wipe him out. These are the 4 Tier 7 Heavenly Yao pills that I refined the day before yesterday. They should be able to increase your cultivation. Li Lingtian tossed the 2 jade bottles to Long Da and the Heavenly Demon King. With a flick of his divine consciousness, he activated the Divine Dragon Ring and the 2 of them vanished before re-entering the Divine Dragon Ring. Apart from the mysterious dragon chi of the 3,000 worlds, the Divine Dragon Ring was extremely large. Marshal Saint Ming Luo and Marshal Saint Yun Hao were unmoved when they saw the Tier 7 pills that Li Lingtian gave Long Da and Heavenly Demon King. They knew that Li Lingtian would not give them less than they deserved. With a super alchemy saint by their side, even if they did not want to raise their cultivation, it was not up to them. After following Li Lingtian, they had learned something that a warrior would never know. Pills could improve one's cultivation but could also kill a warrior. No martial artist could know the time when a martial artist used medicinal pills, as well as the matters that needed to be taken note of when using medicinal pills. After Li Lingtian told them, they understood. Pills had to be used at critical places and times. Otherwise, not only would they not be able to increase cultivation, but they would also be harmful to a martial artist's future cultivation. After Li Lingtian returned to the second floor, he laid down on the deck chair outside the spaceship and watched Huangfu Yuyan and the others chat. The 11 girls were chattering away, and they looked extremely happy. The happiest ones were Little White, Shenyuan Yingying, and Ge. The three of them spent the most time together. Together with Xiao Xiao and the others, they had a great time. At that moment, Shun Mei came to Li Lingtian's side and brought a small stool over to sit beside him. She leaned against Li Lingtian's body and the lazy look on her face caused Li Lingtian to be in a trance. Her delicate figure was faintly discernible under the veil. Her snow-white, smooth skin had a youthful glow and a faint scent wafted into Li Lingtian's nose. 1/3 of her proud and firm chest was exposed, causing Li Lingtian's eyes to widen. Naturally, Shun Mei knew the look in Li Lingtian's eyes. Not only did she not feel shy when he looked at her like that, she was even happy and proud. After all, everything belonged to Li Lingtian, so she was not afraid of him looking at her. The more Li Lingtian behaved like this, the more it showed that Li Lingtian liked her charm. "Husband, shall we return to the Queen's palace for a few days?" Shun Mei looked at Li Lingtian with her beautiful eyes. Her eyes were filled with lust and charm, giving off a peerless charm. No matter the occasion, Shun Mei always had a charm that Li Lingtian was intoxicated with. This charm did not need to be deliberately put on as it would appear naturally. Shun Mei did not know why, but perhaps it was due to the body of charm. "Of course, we're going to Spirituality City this time. Did you miss Her Highness the Queen?" Li Lingtian reached out and placed his palm on Shun Mei's back. He gently stroked her back and looked at her tenderly. This was his first woman and he had a special feeling about her. Although it wasn't his first love, it was still his first time with Shun Mei. "Yes, I do." Shun Mei's face lit up with joy as she gave a soft before gently leaning her head on Li Lingtian's chest. In front of her man, there was nothing to hide. As the other girls watched Li Lingtian and Shun Mei together, they naturally did not disturb them. They understood that even though Li Lingtian was by their side every day, he rarely wanted to be alone with them. Naturally, they had to leave such opportunities to Shun Mei and Li Lingtian. Besides, warriors had more time to cultivate. If there were only 1 or 2 girls by Li Lingtian's side, he was destined to be lonely. Now that Li Lingtian had 5 wives, he had someone to keep him company at all times. Shenyuan Yingying and Little Bai, Ge, and the others could also chat with Li Lingtian. The flying ship flew quickly above the sea. With 2 martial saints guarding it, even if it encountered a hurricane, they could deal with it. Martial saints did not care about things that a martial supreme could not resolve. Moreover, a martial saint powerhouse was very sensitive to the world. If there was any real danger, they would naturally warn Li Lingtian in advance. "Sister Yuyan, you guys continue. I'm going back to rest. I'm feeling a little tired." Huangfu Yuyan and the others chatted for a long time before Shenyuan Yingying stood up and went back to rest. On the spaceship, there was nothing else to do. Only a few girls gathered together to chat or cultivate. "It's getting late. Let's go back and rest." Li Lingtian looked at the sky. The sky was gradually darkening. Above the sea breeze at night was fierce. If he was not careful, he would be eroded by the sea breeze. Although he wouldn't fall sick, he still felt uncomfortable after the sea breeze eroded him. Moreover, the sea breeze at night was very strong. The girls were all wearing light muslin and could not catch a cold. "Yes." Shun Mei nodded obediently before leaving Li Lingtian's chest. She stood up and held Li Lingtian's hand. The other girls returned to their rooms to cultivate. Huangfu Yuyan came to Li Lingtian's side and held his arm with Shun Mei. The three of them returned to the room in the spaceship, and the two women began to tidy up the room. With a wave of his hand, Li Lingtian cast a restriction around the room to prevent Little White and Xuanyuan Yingying from barging in. After she was done, Huangfu Yuyan's jade-like hands moved around Li Lingtian's body. She removed his clothes and placed them neatly on the cabinet at the side. Li Lingtian took the opportunity to lie down on the spacious bed. Shun Mei and Huangfu Yuyan removed their veils, leaving only a tube top and a pair of tights on their bodies. Their perfect bodies were revealed to Li Lingtian. The two ladies lay on Li Lingtian's left and right, their bodies clinging tightly to him. The three of them did not do anything. Although they liked Li Lingtian, they did not indulge in lust. They were satisfied as long as they were in Li Lingtian's arms. Moreover, it was not safe in the sea. If they encountered a hurricane or danger, their vigilance would be lowered. Soon, the three of them fell asleep. The sea was vast and boundless. The flying ship flew for a full 20 days before leaving the sea and arriving at the edge of East River City. They did not stay in East River City. Li Lingtian still had feelings for the place he used to live in, but he could not stay there anymore. When they reached the shore, the flying ship did not stop and continued to fly in the direction of Spirituality City. However, Li Lingtian stopped his spaceship after coming to the Azure continent. After all, he had been on the spaceship for a long time and was still not used to it. After living in a city for a month, they finally began their long flight. In 4 months, Spirituality City was in sight. Finally, the flying ship landed 100 miles away from Spirituality City. "I'm finally back." Shun Mei was overjoyed as she planted a kiss on Li Lingtian's cheek with her rosy lips. Even if she was a girl who had to get married and was now with her beloved, she was still excited to return to her mother's house. "Is this Sister Mei-er's home?" Xuanyuan Yingying knew that Shun Mei-er was from Spirit City, but she didn't know who it was, so she thought that she hadn't arrived there yet. "Yes, this is Spirituality City," Shun Mei-er said happily, her face glowing with excitement. This kind of excitement was a kind of nostalgia. "Then let's hurry up and leave. Sister Mei-er is already at the Queen's palace," Huangfu Yuyan said with a smile. She was from the Divine Continent and was currently hundreds of millions of miles away from the Divine Continent. Naturally, she wouldn't be able to return to the Divine Continent for the time being. However, when Li Lingtian became stronger, he would naturally go to the Divine Continent. By then, his family would also become stronger because of Li Lingtian's strength. "It must be like this. I used to be like this too." "All right, Sister Mei-er, do you feel afraid of being close to your hometown?" Tang Qingyue's face cracked into a smile. It was a smile that only appeared in front of her sisters and Li Lingtian. No one else had ever seen her smile before. "Of course. I haven't been back for a long time." Shun Mei-er and Tang Qingyue held hands as she spoke in a coquettish voice. These sisters were even closer than best friends. There was no privacy between them because they shared a beloved man. "Then let's hurry." Tang Ziming and Xuanyuan Yingying held Li Lingtian's hand and dragged him forward. Li Lingtian looked at Tang Ziming and Xuanyuan Yingying. These two girls would never grow up. They would always be mischievous and lively. However, the group quickly flew towards Spirituality City. Although they didn't use a flying ship, their speed was still very fast. The distance of 100 miles was covered in less than half an hour. Looking at the tall city walls, the Spirit Rhyme City was prosperous. Countless martial artists came in and out. Countless warriors were stunned when they saw Li Lingtian's group. The man was elegant and graceful, and the girls were all peerless. Any one of them was an unparalleled existence in the world, but now there were several of them together, which gave people a visual impact. At that moment, more than 20 patrol members at the city gate stopped Li Lingtian and the others. Although Li Lingtian and the others were not ordinary people, the safety of Spirit Rhyme City was still a must. "Sir, you need a token to enter Spirituality City," a martial arts grandmaster's team leader said politely. After all, a martial arts grandmaster like him could not afford to offend people like Li Lingtian. These people, even those super large families, might not be able to see them. Every one of them was a proud son of heaven. Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian did not have a token, but his name alone was enough. In the Azure continent, even if one did not know his master's name, one would not be unaware of Li Lingtian's reputation. Li Lingtian. Saint Alchemist Lingtian. So it's young noble Lingtian. I'm also from the Azure continent. Young noble Lingtian. Please come in. When the patrol leader heard Li Lingtian's name, he was instantly shocked. Li Lingtian's reputation was so great that it was known to everyone in Green Province and the Azure continent. His name was like a supreme token. Chapter 562. Welcome, 1. Li Lingtian glanced at the patrol leader and nodded. In the end, he was dragged into the city by Tang Ziming and Shenyuan Yingying. Li Lingtian had long gotten used to the envious gazes of countless warriors. Tang Qingyue and the others were naturally the same. This was a kind of capital. If he grew ugly, naturally no one would look at him. The group of people walked directly towards the queen's palace, leaving behind countless discussions. So many peerless beauties. Any one of them is a 1 in 10,000 existence. If I had such a wife, even death would be worth it. I think I've seen that man before. Yes, I've seen him before. That's right. He's young noble Lingtian. Young Master Lingtian, the one who used the war god to wipe out the House of Storms, right? No wonder there are so many beautiful women following him. Only such an expert is worthy of those beautiful women. Beauties and powerhouses would always be the center of attention. Li Lingtian, Tang Qingyue, and the others were undoubtedly a gathering of powerhouses and beauties. Each of them was a peerless beauty, while Li Lingtian was elegant and graceful with heaven-defying strength. Some of the discussions were completely ignored. Because in this world, no matter how powerful you were, you couldn't control the mouths of others. Soon, the news of Li Lingtian's return to Lingyun City spread like wildfire. Countless Green Province warriors came to greet him. In Lingyun City, tens of thousands of warriors came from Azure Continent and were brought here by Li Lingtian. There were also countless warriors who had escaped to Azure Continent after Li Lingtian helped them fend off the demons. Gradually, countless Azure Continent warriors gathered in Spirit Rime City. The warriors knew that Li Lingtian was heading to the Queen's palace and were waiting at the main avenue with excitement on their faces. Even though they did not speak to Li Lingtian, they were able to show their gratitude and respect for him. In an instant, the main road leading to the Queen's palace was filled with countless genius martial artists, but the middle of the road was unobstructed. Young noble Lingtian. Young noble Lingtian. Waves of cheers rang out. Even if the martial artists in Lingyun City were not from Green Island, they were still cheering. As Li Lingtian had once resisted the assault of the House of Storms and saved Spirituality City, his status in Spirituality City was equivalent to that of the Queen. The warriors of Green Island were naturally grateful and excited. Immediately, cheers resounded throughout the world. In an instant, Li Lingtian's popularity reached its peak. Shenyuan Yingying and Tang Ziming were proud of Li Lingtian's popularity. In this place, Li Lingtian was like the ruler of a dynasty. In fact, it was beyond the fear of the ruler of a dynasty. Instead, these warriors respected him from the bottom of their hearts. The girls were also extremely happy, and their little faces were filled with happiness. Li Lingtian nodded with a smile on his face. Although he didn't need to greet these people because of his status, he wasn't someone who would put on airs. If they respected him, he would return the favor. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian and the others arrived before the plaque of the Queen's palace. When they arrived, countless powerhouses from the Queen's palace were already waiting in front of the signboard. Even the Queen had come, but this time, the Queen was not Xuanzhou, but the new Queen, Li Yingyu. Welcome, young noble Lingtian, to the Queen's palace. Junior sister Mei welcome home. Li Yingyu saluted Li Lingtian. Although she was the Queen's Majesty, she was of the same generation as Li Lingtian and the others. She also knew how powerful Li Lingtian was. Her Majesty, the Queen, was nothing more than a word in front of Li Lingtian. He was also extremely grateful to Li Lingtian and Shan Mei. Then, he greeted Tang Qingyue and the others. He was extremely surprised. He had only seen them from afar before, but now that he saw them up close, he was shocked. There really were such beautiful girls in the world. Previously, he thought that Shun Mei was the most beautiful and charming girl in the divine martial continent. However, he did not expect all the girls around Li Lingtian to be so beautiful. After greeting them, Li Yingyu led Li Lingtian and the others into the queen's palace. Shun Yu and Shun Tianzhou had already abdicated and were living a life they had never enjoyed before. After chatting for an hour in the main hall, Li Yingyu finally instructed someone to bring Li Lingtian and the others to rest. Naturally, Shun Mei had been staying here all this while. The place where they rested was also where she lived. After settling down, Li Lingtian brought Shun Mei and the others to Shun Yu's place. Lingtian greets your majesty and Uncle Shun. When Li Lingtian saw Shun Tianzhou and Shun Yu, he forgot how to address them. However, after he addressed them, he realized that he should change his address. Mother, father. When Shun Mei saw Shun Yu and Shun Tianzhou, she was overjoyed, and her eyes reddened. She threw herself into Shun Yu's arms. Now that Shun Yu was not a queen, but a mother, she naturally did not have any scruples. Greetings, uncle and auntie. Tang Qingyue and the others also came forward to greet him, looking extremely respectful. Shun Mei's family was also their family. Husband, are you still not going to change your mind? Shun Mei snuggled in Shun Yu's arms as she looked at Li Lingtian with a pout. Lingtian greets mother and father. Li Lingtian did not hesitate to change his tone naturally. He bowed to Shun Yu and Shun Tianzhou once again. Tang Qingyue, Huangfu Yuyan, and the others also bowed and greeted him. In the end, they all sat in the pavilion and chatted happily. Soon, Tang Qingyue and the others got to know Shun Yu better. Shun Yu didn't have the queen's aura like before. Now, he was just an ordinary parent, so they were naturally closer. You guys still call us uncle and aunt? Shun Yu looked at Shenyuan Yingying, Little White, and Ge and said in confusion. Mother, this is my husband's younger sister, Ge, the princess of the fairy clan. This is my husband's sister, Xiao Bai, the dragon clan's Xiao Longnoob. This is my husband's sister, Shenyuan Yingying. She is the princess of the Shenyuan clan and the princess of Tianhe's sacred city. Shun Mei and the others laughed, then introduced Ge and the other two. They knew that Shun Yu had mistaken Ge and the other two for Li Lingtian's women. Although Ge and Little White had met Shun Yu before, he didn't know their identities. Now that he heard Shun Mei's introduction, he was extremely shocked. The identities of these three people were all incomparably powerful. None of them could be provoked. He admired Li Lingtian even more. Apart from Shun Mei, he had so many peerless beauties by his side and three powerful sisters. It seemed like the three girls had a close relationship with Li Lingtian. One was the Dragon Clan, one was the Elf Clan, and one was the Shenyuan clan. Which one of them was not an ancient clan? Why did you come back this time? Only Shun Tianzhou and Li Lingtian's men were present at this place. The other women were naturally chatting away. The two of them were naturally chatting at the side. We plan to stay here for a while before leaving for the Black Continent to train. It just so happens that there's an array corps in front of Lingyun City. Lingtian plans to cross over to the Black Continent. Li Lingtian did not hide anything after hearing Shun Tianzhou's words. He told them about their trip to the Mystic Continent but did not say what they were going there for. Shun Tianzhou was Shun Mei's father, so he naturally had to respect him. Shenzhou. The Black Continent is not the Azure Continent or the Azure Continent. You must be careful when you go there. Shun Tianzhou's expression changed several times as he looked at Li Lingtian seriously. This expression was the same as Shenyuan Tianming's, but Shenyuan Tianming's was because of the matter of crossing over, while Shun Tianzhou's expression changed because of the power of Shenzhou. Lingtian knows. Li Lingtian nodded. His heart was filled with warmth. He was satisfied with his family's concern for him in the divine martial continent. I'm from the Black Continent. I only know a little about the power of the Black Continent. Oh right, I brought this token with me when I left the Black Continent. Maybe you can use it in the future. As Shun Tianzhou spoke, he passed a token to Li Lingtian. Rather than calling it a token, it was more like a jade pendant. Moreover, this jade pendant was obviously a girl's item. Li Lingtian was stunned. Was Xuanzhou not afraid of Xuanyu finding out that he had a girl's item on him? Xuanzhou was not Li Lingtian. She had a few wives. Other men would have higher status the stronger they were. It was normal for them to have 3 or 4 wives. However, it was impossible for Xuanzhou because he was the queen's man. Don't worry, your mother won't say anything. This was a personal item of a friend of mine. It was said that this was his daughter's jade pendant. They lost contact. But that friend of mine also died on the way to the Azure continent. All these years, I've been in the Azure continent and haven't returned to the Black continent, so this matter hasn't been resolved. Xuanzhou smiled. Although he envied other men having multiple wives, he didn't. Outsiders knew that the queen's husband was a puppet, but only he knew how loving they were. Seeing how worried Li Lingtian was for him, he was extremely satisfied. He was quite fond of this son-in-law of his. If Lingtian were to encounter her, how would he explain it to her? Li Lingtian looked at the jade pendant. It was obvious that the pendant had a restriction on it. Although he was a holy array master, he would not do such despicable things. Without the owner's permission, he would not open the pendant. You only need to say a few words. Blood-drinking heaven's favorite maniac. Heaven's favorite snow-drinking maniac. Xuanzhou said lightly, his face serious. Li Lingtian was puzzled when he heard those 2 sentences. It should be said that those 2 sentences were a spell or some kind of code. However, he did not say anything. Some things could only be pretended to be ignorant. In any case, it was not easy to find a person in the vast sea of people in Xuanzhou. It would be easy to find an expert or a famous figure, but it would be like finding a needle in a haystack if you were to find an unknown figure. There was still a target to find a needle in a haystack, but finding an unknown target in the vast sea of people was too difficult, even harder than ascending to the heavens. Chapter 563, Crossing Worlds, 1. The few of them chatted for a long time before Li Lingtian and the others returned to their own quarters. Spirituality City was the Queen Palace's headquarters and one of the 3 super forces in the Azure continent. However, the strongest of the 3 superpowers, House of Storms, had been wiped out by Li Lingtian, leaving only the Queen's Palace and the Windy Moon Palace. The Wind Moon Palace's Wind Spirit Prince was Li Lingtian's brother. Naturally, the Wind Moon Palace would not oppose the Queen's Palace. More importantly, Li Lingtian was standing in the Queen's Palace. As long as Li Lingtian was around, no one in the Azure continent would dare to provoke the Queen's Palace. Shunmei was from this place, so she was very familiar with the city. Naturally, she brought Tang Qingyue and the others to play while Li Lingtian was studying the transboundary formation thousands of miles away from Spirituality City. Originally, with his array Dao techniques, the world-crossing Grand Array was very easy. Moreover, he had used the cross-realm formation before. After his cultivation reached the martial monarch realm, his array Dao skills had also improved. It should be said that cross-realm was even easier. However, he did not dare to be careless. This time, he was going to the Xian continent hundreds of millions of miles away. Not only was it far away, but there was also a heaven-locking array on the other side. It was a heaven-locking array cast by an ancient mighty figure. If he was not careful, he would experience space-time disorder halfway through the world crossing. At that time, he would not even know how he died. Therefore, Li Lingtian had Tang Qingyue and the others tag along with Shunmei, while Long Da was in charge of protecting her. Long Da and the Heavenly Demon King had been focused in the Divine Dragon Ring for half a year. Due to Long Da's dragon energy and the 7th grade Heavenly Demon Pill, his cultivation had reached level 7. The Heavenly Demon King had also raised his cultivation to the peak of the 2nd firmament of the Martial Saint Realm. He was only a step away from the 3rd firmament of the Martial Saint Realm. However, it was not that simple to enter the 3rd heaven. But even so, it was beyond his imagination. According to the cultivation speed of the monster race, it would take him 50 years to reach the peak of the 2nd sky of the Martial Saint Realm from the peak of the 1st sky of the Martial Saint Realm. Usually, he wouldn't be able to make a breakthrough in his entire life. She did not expect to achieve a breakthrough after following Li Lingtian for less than a year. Their cultivation base had improved, and their abilities had also soared. Now one of them was protecting Li Lingtian while the other was protecting Tang Qingyue and the others. As for Marshal Saint Yunhao and Marshal Saint Ming Luo, they were also cultivating peacefully. Li Lingtian looked at the center of the array before him and cast the divine array diagram. He quickly cast countless array formations within 100 miles to secure the area. After everything was done, the heavenly demon king stood guard outside while Li Lingtian entered the array formation alone. He began to study the world crossing formation. This time, he had to set up the world crossing formation. Not only did he have to do a lot of things here, but he also had to understand the landing point on the other side. Just like that, after half a month, Li Lingtian was finally relieved. Then, he walked out of the array formation and got the Queen's palace to send experts to guard this place. The Heaven Demon Monarch was also hiding here. Li Lingtian was worried that someone would destroy the array core, but he was prepared for this. With his array Dao, even martial emperors and martial saints could not easily destroy the array he had cast. After leaving the array, Li Lingtian returned to the Queen's palace to rest. He had not been with his wife for half a month, so he had to spend some time with her. After Tang Ziming accompanied Li Lingtian to take a bath, she returned to her room. Li Lingtian's heart burned with excitement as he watched Tang Qingyue meditate on the bed. Although he was with a few girls, and there were 2 girls accompanying him every day. However, this was the first time the 2 sisters had been together. The thought of having the 2 sisters serve him alone made him excited. When the 2 of them returned, Tang Qingyue had also stopped cultivating. Tang Qingyue's face turned red for no reason when she saw Li Lingtian's expression. If she were to serve Li Lingtian with the other sisters, she would be more relaxed. Even if she was shy, she could still accept it. However, she was excited to serve Li Lingtian with her own sister. However, Tang Qingyue still got off the bed and walked to Li Lingtian's side. The 2 sisters took off Li Lingtian's clothes and their own gauze. The 3 of them lay on the bed, their hearts racing. This feeling was extremely exciting. After all, the 2 sisters were serving the same man. Li Lingtian could not help but feel his heart pounding. His hands wandered between the sisters' hands. They were already feeling extremely excited, but after being touched by Li Lingtian, the sisters could not hold it in any longer. She moaned as her delicate body caressed Li Lingtian's. Even before Li Lingtian had started, the sisters could not take the stimulation. That night, as Li Lingtian and the 2 sisters made love with Tang Qingyue, Tang Ziming watched curiously and was extremely excited. While Li Lingtian and Tang Ziming were making love, Tang Qingyue watched curiously. It was Li Lingtian's first time realizing that the 2 sisters were telepathic. Furthermore, it was a reaction in this aspect. When Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue were making love, Tang Ziming felt as if she was being cultivated by Li Lingtian. Tang Qingyue reached the clouds, and Tang Ziming also reached the clouds. The 2 sisters did the same. When they were having sex with Tang Ziming, the 2 sisters moaned the same way. The 3 of them were extremely excited when they discovered this feeling. It was even more comfortable and exciting than usual. They only stopped when the 3 of them fell asleep in satisfaction. In the following period, the sisters served Li Lingtian for a few nights but not every day. They understood that a married couple must exercise restraint. Even if it was love, there had to be a limit. The more wonderful the thing, the more restrained it was, because this way, it could retain the excitement in the future. Just like before, it was still Shun Mei and Tang Ziming, Tang Qingyue and Huangfu Yuyan, and sometimes Qingling. Time passed day by day. It had been 2 months since Li Lingtian and the others arrived at Spirituality City. It was also time to leave. After all, martial artists had to constantly strengthen themselves in their lives. It was imperative to go to the Black Continent for experience. On this day, Li Lingtian called Shun Mei and the others into the Divine Dragon Ring before he went into the Array Core alone. His body flashed continuously as he unleashed the 12 Supreme Spiritual Stones. The 12 Supreme Spiritual Stones formed a formation, and with the addition of the Array Core, Li Lingtian was able to reduce his consumption. The Divine Array appeared in front of Li Lingtian. With a flick of his fingers, he cast a series of magic arts. The magic arts struck the Divine Array and it emitted a golden glow. Thunder and lightning bolts continuously sounded between heaven and earth. Boom! Boom! Hoo-hoo! A shocking thunder exploded and a sharp wind sounded. The entire Spirituality City could feel the changes in the sky, as if it was the end of the world. At this moment, countless arcs of lightning appeared in the sky. The endless arcs of lightning transformed into meteors that continuously shuttled through the sky. Furthermore, fiery red clouds appeared in the sky. The fiery red clouds dyed the sky red, and the entire world turned fiery red. Countless warriors in the city looked at the changes in the sky, and found that the place where the changes happened was thousands of miles away from the city. This change was caused by the strong. Countless warriors were flying out of Spirituality City. When they arrived 100 miles away from the array core, they looked at Li Lingtian, who was hovering in the air with admiration and envy. As this shocking phenomenon was unleashed by young Master Lingtian, Li Lingtian hovered in the air as a golden array diagram shone with a golden radiance. He was also like a god of war floating in the air, giving people the feeling that he was the ruler of the world. Li Lingtian continued to cast his magic arts, causing the world to rumble incessantly. The 12 supreme grade spirit stones also emitted a shocking spirit chi light pillar. In an instant, 100 miles around Li Lingtian became a world of light. World Crossing Formation. Young Noble Lingtian is using the World Crossing Grand Formation. Young Noble Lingtian wants to cross worlds? Could it be that he's going to a very distant place? Only an expert like young Noble Lingtian can cross over. So this is the World Crossing Formation. This is the first time I've seen it. It's so magical and powerful. In an instant, many powerhouses saw Li Lingtian's transboundary formation and were filled with admiration and admiration. A powerhouse who could cross worlds was a true powerhouse. Li Lingtian turned a deaf ear to the discussions outside. He stared at the void with a sharp gaze as he continued to cast the magic art in his hands. After a quarter of an hour, Li Lingtian finally stopped his incantation gesture and the colorful light shield in the sky stabilized. Li Lingtian spoke in a secret voice and a tall and mighty powerhouse flew up to Li Lingtian's side. "You go in," Li Lingtian said indifferently. He did not make any movements as the tall powerhouse beside him vanished into thin air. Rumble! Walala! Explosions continued in the air, and thunder and lightning descended endlessly. 100 miles away from the light shield, there was a sea of people. Countless warriors looked at Li Lingtian with admiration and respect. Li Lingtian looked at the light shield in the sky and activated his divine consciousness. He channeled all his true essence and a silk banner appeared in his hand. The spatial banner was a decent saint artifact. Although it didn't have any offensive or defensive properties, it was still a good support-type treasure. At this time, using the spatial banner was just the right time to display its true use. He looked at the void and waved his hand. A 100-meter wide grid appeared in the void, and the red grid quickly changed. Gradually, the grid expanded to a radius of 1,000 meters. In the grid, a gray hole appeared. The appearance of this hole caused the world to change color. It had a negative impact on countless martial artists, and their hearts began to tremble. However, Li Lingtian did not hesitate at all. He channeled his vital essence and unleashed the true dragon body barrier. He even activated the limitless feather coat he wore underneath. With a flash, he turned into a stream of light and flew toward the gray hole. His figure was instantly swallowed by the void. The world became even more violent, as if the entire world was about to be destroyed. After Li Lingtian disappeared, the light shield vanished as well. A massive destruction occurred within 100 miles of the light shield as countless warriors retreated hastily. After a full 2 minutes, the world finally quieted down and everything returned to normal. In the Queen's palace, Xuanzhou, Xuanzhou, and Queen Li Yingyue were looking at the void with a worried expression. However, they were more happy than happy as they prayed for Li Lingtian. Chapter 564. Young Girl, 1. The Azure Continent, Spirituality City, was in an uproar. The entire Spirit Resonance City was in an uproar because young Noble Lingtian had crossed over. Even though he didn't know where young Noble Lingtian was going, he knew that a powerhouse who could cross worlds was a heaven-defying existence. Furthermore, young Noble Lingtian was a legend and a miracle. He became a saint alchemist at the age of 19, the first saint alchemist in the Azure Continent. He wiped out the House of Storms by himself, shocked the Azure Continent, and returned to the Azure Continent to fight the demons. At the age of 22, he had become a heaven-defying expert at the third level of the martial emperor realm and refined a peerless great rejuvenation pill. He fought against a martial saint and escaped from the hands of the 9 demon venerables. Naturally, they did not know that Li Lingtian had killed the 9 demon venerables and the 7 demon venerables. Otherwise, their jaws would have dropped in shock. There were also countless shocking things that these martial artists could not know. He was an earth-shattering existence in everything he did, and now he had crossed over. Almost everyone in the Azure continent knew about this. This was young noble Ling Tian. All of a sudden, the deeds of Li Lingtian's 8 generations of ancestors were dug up. From his birth to his rise to his current heaven-defying achievements, Li Lingtian had become a miracle in the Azure continent and even the Serenity Plains. However, Li Lingtian, who was surrounded by the powerful halo, was about to cry to death. The moment he entered the space-time tunnel, he felt the destructive devouring power. This power was something he had never encountered before. Even if he circulated his true essence and the true dragon body protection, he could not resist this power. He was shocked. The last time he crossed the border from the House of Storms to the Lingyun city, it was very easy and he didn't encounter any danger. However, this time, he encountered an irresistible destructive force. Chi. Threads. Threads. In the dusky passageway, Li Lingtian unleashed all sorts of treasures and powerful techniques, but they were not able to withstand his attacks at all. The heaven and earth creation cauldron was still useless. Heavenly demon region. Space pennant. True dragon body protection. Giant dragon power. The will of the earth. Li Lingtian's expression changed drastically. He had used all the treasures and divine powers he could. However, the destructive power was still destroying him, and he did not know when it would end. The true essence in his body was also rapidly flowing away. What made him feel despair was that his cultivation continued to fall. The only thing he could do now was to hold his spirit. The peak of the third heaven of the martial emperor realm. Third heaven of the martial emperor realm. Peak second heaven martial emperor realm. First heaven. The martial emperor realm had fallen. The 9th level of the supreme realm, the 8th level, the 7th level, the 6th level. Li Lingtian's eyes were filled with despair. He was most worried about his death. After his death, Tang Qingyue and the rest would perish in the divine dragon ring forever. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian's eyes and consciousness began to fade as his mind turned dark. Finally, he fainted. Xuanzhou. The divine martial continent was the most magical continent. It was so vast that no one knew how big it was. Moreover, the Black Continent was a world of countries. There were endless countries here, and the entire Black Continent was controlled by countless countries. The boundless sea was just like its name. It was a boundless sea, describing the vastness of the sea. It was this sea region that nurtured billions of experts. In the depths of the sea, there were powerful sea beasts. The materials and inner cores of these sea beasts were essential cultivation resources for martial artists. Rumble. Rumble. Crash. Princess, leave quickly. An earth-shattering battle was taking place at the edge of an island in the sea. A middle-aged woman wielded a red caltrop in her hand. The red caltrop emitted a terrifying aura, and the space trembled. Sea water soared into the sky. The woman was obviously a third-level martial emperor, but her opponent was a terrifying sea beast. The sea beast was extremely huge, and its lantern-sized eyes were emitting a cold aura. It was a Tier 5, Level 4 sea dragon beast. A Level 5, Level 4 sea beast was equivalent to a Level 4 martial emperor. Moreover, the geographical position of the sea beast was much stronger than that of a martial artist of the same level. Moreover, the woman in front of him was only a Level 3 martial emperor. Among the warriors, women were much weaker than men. Facing a Level 4 sea beast, the woman's face showed fear. Moreover, they were heavily injured and looked extremely miserable. There were more than 10 martial arts grandmaster corpses floating in the sea. They were obviously killed by sea beasts. The woman retreated as she fought, shouting at the girl on the flying sword with an anxious expression. Aunt Yun, hurry up. Let's escape together. Come up quickly. The young girl's face was filled with panic, but she did not escape alone. Instead, she called the middle-aged woman to leave together. It was already very rare to see a girl with such a temperament in this world. Hurry up and leave. The middle-aged woman's eyes flashed with gratitude when she saw that the young woman was not leaving. In her moment of distraction, the sea dragon beast's shocking water pillar struck the middle-aged woman, causing her to spit out a mouthful of blood. Its body was also on the verge of collapsing. When the sea dragon beast saw that its opponent was injured, it immediately attacked even more intensely. Ah! With a scream, the third-level martial emperor woman was also killed by the sea dragon beast. The middle-aged woman lost her life in an instant. When the young girl saw that Aunt Yun had also been killed, her small face turned pale. Her small mouth also trembled, and her face was filled with helplessness. Completely forgetting that the sea dragon beast was already pouncing over, the level 5, level 4 sea dragon beast unleashed its bestial nature and shot up, attacking the girl. The girl was only a rank 1 martial king. She could not even move her fingers in front of the sea dragon beast's pressure. She watched helplessly as the sea dragon beast pounced towards her, and she was already scared silly. She could clearly feel the foul smell of the sea dragon coming at her, and its huge bloody mouth was biting towards her. "We're done for," the young girl muttered in her heart. She had already accepted the outcome of death. At this moment, a muffled sound was heard. Bang! Plop! A burst of energy shot out in the air, followed by a plop, stirring up thousands of water pillars. Endless water pillars and icy cold seawater woke the girl up. The girl tried to open her eyes and found that she was still floating above the flying sword, but the flying sword was already swaying. Moreover, that terrifying sea dragon beast was floating on the surface of the sea. Its head had been smashed into pieces, and it couldn't be any more dead. Seeing this, the young girl's face revealed a look of horror. Even his martial royal realm guards were easily killed. More than a dozen martial arts grandmaster guards were also killed. However, this terrifying sea dragon beast was easily killed by someone. He looked around in shock, but he did not find any experts in the air. The more it was like this, the more afraid the girl was. To be able to kill a level 4 tier 5 sea dragon beast, it must be a tier 5 or 6 martial emperor. If there was a super expert, she would be finished. However, a white-robed young man appeared in his line of sight. However, this young man was floating above the sea. The girl looked around and saw no one else. She thought to herself, could it be that he killed the sea dragon beast and injured himself? After thinking for a moment, the young girl used her divine sense and shot the flying sword toward the water surface. She tried to grab it with one hand, but the young man didn't react at all. With this kind of probing, the young girl knew that this young man was injured and unconscious because the aura on his body was faintly discernible and was almost dissipating. Without any hesitation, she summoned a colorful caltrip and wrapped it around the young man. After entangling the young man, he exerted force with one hand, and the young man had already left the water. His entire body was drenched. The girl looked at the middle-aged woman's corpse. The woman's corpse had already been bitten into 2 halves by the sea dragon beast. She hesitated for a moment before waving a hand and burning the woman's corpse. After doing everything, the young girl had a sad expression on her face. She grabbed the young man and rode the flying sword towards the island not far away. Arriving on the island, the young girl quickly found a hidden cave and placed the young man in a dry place to size him up. The young man's face was pale and powerless, but it could not hide his delicate and handsome appearance. What should we do? I can't leave him alone. If not for him, I would have died long ago. But why is his injury so serious? Without a tier 4 or 5 healing pill, it's impossible to wake him up. The young girl spun around anxiously, her face incomparably anxious, because the aura of the young man who saved her was getting weaker and weaker. If this continued, this young man would definitely die. He was able to defeat the Type 5 sea dragon beast because his strength isn't simple. I wonder if he has any pills on him? The young girl's mind spun rapidly as she looked at the young man on the ground. He carefully walked toward the young man, preparing to search for medicinal pills on the young man. However, the moment her jade-like hand touched the storage pouch on the young man's waist, the young man's body moved. Yes. The young man nodded softly and opened his eyes weakly. You woke up, you woke up. The young man suddenly opened his eyes. The young girl was frightened and quickly retreated. However, She realized that the young man did not move at all. It was obvious that he did not have any strength. She was relieved. He stuttered as he asked the young man. After asking, he felt that what he asked was nonsense. "Thank you for saving me." Li Lingtian felt guilty and curious when he saw the girl's trembling face. He did not expect such a timid girl to exist. Indeed, this white-robed young man was Li Lingtian who had crossed over. He didn't know what had happened, but he felt that he was still alive. Moreover, he didn't have any strength in his body, let alone any cultivation. "No need to thank me. If you hadn't killed the sea dragon beast in the end, I would have died too. If you want to thank me, I should be the one saying it." The young girl gradually relaxed. This young man had saved her first, and now he was thanking her. She was satisfied with the manners of this young man. At least a warrior with such conduct would not be a big evil person. "I saved you. What is this place?" Li Lingtian was stunned. He had no idea what was going on. He couldn't even protect himself, so when would he save this girl? However, with his experience and wisdom, he naturally reacted quickly and covered up his words. Something must have happened between them that he didn't know about. He was curious, and more importantly, he wanted to know what this place was. Although the world-crossing formation rarely made mistakes, there were times when space-time would be distorted and the place would be shifted to the opposite direction. Chapter 565. Qing Country, Nandu County. Young Master, this is the boundless sea. It belongs to the Nandu County of Qing. Your memory must have been damaged. Just now, my guard was killed and I was almost killed by the sea dragon beast. However, a strange attack killed the sea dragon beast. I don't know how it was killed. When the young lady saw that Li Lingtian did not remember that she had saved her, she immediately felt guilty. Hence, she told him everything that had happened. After explaining what had just happened, he continued. "Thought it was a super expert who attacked, but I didn't find anyone else. I saw you floating on the sea, and you were right where the sea dragon beast was. Its head was shattered." "I see. I don't remember. It must be because of my injuries." Li Lingtian was relieved. At least this place was Qing. He would be satisfied even if he was in Xuanzhou, let alone Qing. According to the girl's description, the sea dragon beast was either too unlucky or the girl had escaped death. At the critical moment, she had just come out of the space-time tunnel. As for the attack that killed the sea dragon beast, it was not difficult to understand. It was likely that the destructive force from the inter-realm formation had struck the sea dragon beast and saved the young lady. The young lady was so shocked that she did not know if it was Li Lingtian who had done it. After he finished speaking, his body was extremely weak. Fortunately, his divine sense still existed. It was a trace of divine sense that could be completely ignored in the past. However, this trace of divine sense was a life-saving straw. His clothes were drenched and he felt extremely uncomfortable. Moreover, all the meridians in his body were broken, and his dantian was extremely empty. He felt as if he was in the 18th level of hell. Even though he had gone through countless painful tempering, he almost couldn't hold on anymore. "Miss, can you help me find someone? My friend came with me. He should be nearby." Li Lingtian quickly thought of a way to send the girl away. Otherwise, Tang Qingyue and the others would be finished once his divine consciousness completely dissipated. "All right, wait here. I'll go out and look for it. By the way, I'm Chu Meng, the princess of the Nandu County's king." Chu Meng did not know what to do when she saw Li Lingtian's expression. She heard that Li Lingtian had a friend with him. If she could get his friend here, he would be saved. Moreover, it was really inconvenient for a young girl like her to follow a young man. With that, he walked out of the cave and introduced himself at the entrance. Soon, the young lady left the cave. Li Lingtian's divine consciousness was extremely weak and it was dissipating. He didn't care if the girl had gone far or not. Suddenly, a destructive pain came from his sea of consciousness. If it wasn't for the fact that he had tempered his body with dragon energy and achieved the heavenly sword physique and the sacred sun physique, such pain would have killed him directly. He activated his divine sense and activated the divine dragon ring. Long Da and Xiao Bai appeared in front of Li Lingtian, but it was too late for the others to come out. Li Lingtian's divine consciousness dissipated and the divine dragon ring was shut off. Li Lingtian almost passed away. He was relieved to see Long Da and Xiao Bai's appearance and his eyes were filled with relief. "Brother, what's wrong?" "Young master, how did this happen?" When Xiao Bai and Long Da came out and saw Li Lingtian's appearance, they were shocked. With Li Lingtian's strength, he would not be in such a miserable state even if he encountered a martial saint powerhouse. Could it be that he had encountered a super martial saint? However, there was no time to think about it at that moment. He quickly walked forward to check on Li Lingtian's injuries. It would have been fine if he hadn't checked, but after the check, Long Da's face turned pale and he looked extremely ugly. Due to Li Lingtian's broken meridians and the loss of his cultivation base, he was now an ordinary person without any cultivation base. How could he accept such a thing? After all, Li Lingtian was a heaven-defying powerhouse. Without his cultivation base, what was the use of him? There might be a problem with the cross-world array. There's a destructive power in the space-time tunnel. I watched as my cultivation rapidly flowed away. Fortunately, I was able to survive when my cultivation was at its peak. "Oh right, a girl saved me. I sent her away. Later, tell her that you're my friends and found this place. Don't reveal your identities." Li Lingtian closed his eyes after he finished speaking. The moment he closed his eyes, a secret voice reached Little White's ears. He wanted Little White to keep an eye on him. If he was really in danger, he would take the divine dragon ring away and call Tang Qingyue and the others out. Moreover, he was too tired now. He did not have the slightest strength at all, and his consciousness was also very scattered. "Big brother, I'll bring you out of here. When the time comes, I'll let Big Sister Mei and the others help you heal your injuries. Long Da, hide your cultivation first. When the time comes, find a place to settle down. Brother needs to heal his injuries." At this moment, Little White no longer had a mischievous expression on its face. Instead, it emitted the aura of a superior. The dragon might of the dragon race was even stronger than Xiao Longnu's. In the past, she was just a little girl in front of Li Lingtian and had never encountered any powerful enemies. She had never dealt with a single matter alone, but now that she had encountered a problem, she would step forward. Her identity could definitely represent Li Lingtian because if Li Lingtian fell, she would fall with him. There were no secrets between the two of them, and they could even reach a mutual understanding. All right. Long Da didn't hesitate at all. He quickly hid his cultivation base, leaving only the appearance of a martial emperor. Little White was from the Dragon Clan, so no one could see her real cultivation base after she transformed. She only looked like a martial emperor. Although Li Lingtian's cultivation base had vanished, Long Da knew that Li Lingtian would not be defeated by such a minor injury. After all, Li Lingtian's identity was too terrifying and he had countless means to quickly recover his cultivation base. All he needed to do was to protect him during this period. Long Da had just concealed his cultivation when he saw a young girl rush in with an extremely flustered look. With their cultivation bases, Xiao Bai and Long Da had naturally noticed it long ago. They also roughly knew that this young lady was the one who had saved Li Lingtian. Otherwise, why would he let this girl barge in? That would really be a joke. Chu Meng looked at the two people in the cave and was shocked. However, she thought of something and calmed down a little. "Are the two of you his friends?" Chu Meng was a martial king and the princess of Nandu County. She had seen a lot and was very smart. "Yes, thank you for saving my brother. I'm his sister. This is my brother's good friend." Xiao Bai noticed the girl's panic and was probably worried about Li Lingtian's injury. He was rather satisfied since this girl cared about Li Lingtian. "How are his injuries?" Chu Meng looked at Little White. She looked exactly like Li Lingtian, but the one standing in front of her was a girl. She was a peerless beauty that even the 9 heavenly maiden could not compare to. Naturally, he believed that this girl was the younger sister of the young man on the ground. "My brother's injuries are very serious. He needs to find a place to heal." Xiao Bai spoke calmly. It was exactly the same as Li Lingtian, but it was influenced by Li Lingtian. Even though she had never done such things before, she was influenced by Li Lingtian. Whatever Li Lingtian knew, she knew. Hello, I am the Princess of Nandu County. This is Qing country. Your brother was injured because he saved me. I can't just ignore him. I'll bring you back to Nandu County. Once we're there, we can treat his injuries. Chu Meng didn't hesitate and voiced her thoughts. Although this place was not dangerous for the time being, there were often experts who came here to hunt sea beasts. This island was undoubtedly the best place to rest, so there were many experts coming and going. It was naturally impossible to heal in this place. Moreover, she had to return to Nandu County, so she could bring them back to Nandu County. Another thought was that these two were his friends and sister. Their cultivation levels must be quite good. They could also protect her on the way. All right, let's go. Little White nodded and glanced at Long Da, who quickly summoned the spaceship. Little White carried Li Lingtian and flew onto the spaceship. When Chu Meng saw the flying ship, he was extremely surprised. There were many flying ships in Qing country and even Nandu County. However, only martial emperors could use flying ships. Only martial emperors could buy flying ships. If they were able to use the flying ship like this, it meant that the two of them might be martial monarch powerhouses. After being slightly surprised, he also rode his sword and arrived on the spaceship. Long Da piloted the spaceship while Chu Meng pointed the way. Little White carried Li Lingtian back to the room in the spaceship. Li Lingtian's clothes were soaked in the seawater and were still wet. Little White hugged him and wet her veil as well. She quickly changed out of the veil in front of Li Lingtian. Even though Li Lingtian was unconscious, it should be awkward and embarrassing for a girl to change her clothes in front of a man. However, Xiaobai was not shy at all. In her eyes, she and Li Lingtian were the same person. It was just that their personalities and genders were different. Besides, Li Lingtian was still unconscious. Before she transformed, she had seen Li Lingtian making love with other girls. It was just that at that time, she didn't know anything, because she hadn't transformed yet. After changing out of his own clothes, he took out a set of clothes from the storage pouch at Li Lingtian's waist and helped Li Lingtian change out. She was extremely shy as she helped Li Lingtian change his clothes. After all, she was an inexperienced girl while Li Lingtian was a man. She closed her eyes and nervously changed out of Li Lingtian's clothes. This way, Li Lingtian would not be soaked in his wet clothes. He could feel the spacecraft flying at high speed, but he could not heal Li Lingtian at the moment because his current condition was not suitable for healing. He had to wait until Li Lingtian woke up to repair his meridians. Then, he would ask Shen Mei and the others to perform dual cultivation to help Li Lingtian recover his cultivation base and heal his injuries. Chapter 566. Settling down. Qing was a medium-sized country among the 3,000 countries in the Xian continent. Even if it was just a country, it had immense power and vast territory. No one knew how big the Qing country was. In the Qing country, there were vast seas and mountains. Whether it was the seas or the mountains, they were the places with the most cultivation resources. The overall strength of Qing was only below average among the 3,000 kingdoms. However, it was one of the places with the most abundant resources. Because Qing had the advantage of terrain, but because of this, Qing's forces were in turmoil. Countless kingdoms and kingdoms coveted the resources of Qing. Hence, Qing was always in a state of turmoil and war had never stopped. Below Qing, there were also endless wars. The 48 commanderies were also at war for resources. Each commandery had its own power, but no matter what the war was, they had to listen to Qing's orders. No matter how powerful a commandery was, it was no match for other countries. Nandu County was only one of the 48 counties in Qing. It was located at the edge of the boundless sea and occupied endless resources. However, the other commanderies coveted the resources of Nandu Prefecture, and they were constantly fighting with each other. Tianlan, the commandery prince of Nandu Prefecture, was definitely an outstanding and powerful commandery prince. He managed Nandu Prefecture in an orderly manner. Even in the face of the rejection of countless commanderies, he still stood proudly in the boundless sea. However, in recent years, the competition for resources between the various kingdoms and kingdoms had become more and more intense. Naturally, The Qing kingdom had become the target of the countless kingdoms and kingdoms. Big brother, I'll use the true dragon Qi to stabilize your mind. When we reach Nandu County and your divine sense recovers a little, I'll let Sister Mei and the others heal you. Inside the spaceship, Li Lingtian woke up feeling weak and powerless. When Little White saw that Li Lingtian had woken up, it was delighted and stopped circulating its true dragon Qi. Both she and Li Lingtian cultivated the true dragon's body barrier. Although they could not use their true essence together, they could use the true dragon's Qi to help Li Lingtian stabilize his mind. Along the way, Little White used its true dragon's Qi to stabilize Li Lingtian's injuries. However, this method was almost useless because Li Lingtian's injuries were not caused by external forces but were destroyed by a mysterious force in the space-time tunnel. The loss of cultivation was also the most critical reason for his injury. He did not know where to start to recover from his injury, so he could only rely on Li Lingtian now. My clothes. Li Lingtian gave a short aha, but he did not even have the strength to nod. However, when he felt that the clothes on his body that were originally wet and uncomfortable were gone and had now become clean clothes, he was instantly puzzled. He did not know who had helped him change. I saw that you were drenched and it wasn't good for your body, so I helped you change. I wasn't peeking. When Little White heard Li Lingtian mention the clothes, it blushed and lowered its head. After all, it was indeed a little embarrassing for a naked girl to help a young man change his clothes. But there was nothing she could do at that time. It's been hard on you. Li Lingtian felt awkward. Although the girl was very close to him, they were still a couple. Little White had no choice but to help him change his clothes. Now that he had lost his cultivation, if he kept soaking in his wet clothes, even if he was not injured, he would still fall sick. It's okay. Aren't you my brother? There is no distinction between us. At this moment, Xiaobai was very open-minded. The two of them looked exactly the same, but their gender and personalities were different. Moreover, the relationship between the two of them was simply incomparable. Naturally, he did not care about these things. I'll go to Nandu County and buy a mansion. I need to recuperate for a period of time and make proper arrangements. When Li Lingtian heard Little White's words and his head was held in Little White's arms, a warm feeling surged in his heart. Before Little White transformed, it was just a battle partner. As his cultivation base soared, he didn't need Little White anymore. However, as time passed, he and Xiaobai had gotten along very well. Because Xiaobai had never left him, and in his heart, Xiaobai was like the closest person to him. After all, he had watched Xiaobai grow up with his own eyes, and he had practically brought her up. After Little White transformed, this beautiful and mischievous little girl became his joy. Humans were not plants, and no one could be heartless. As time passed, Little White's position in his heart became more and more important, and this position was irreplaceable. There was another person who was almost the same as Little White, and that was Ge. Brother, I understand. You should rest first. I'll call Long Da to make arrangements later. Xiaobai hugged Li Lingtian's head. There was a strange feeling in her arms, but it was not a wild thought. Instead, it was a warm feeling that she hoped the two of them would be like this forever. Girls, regardless of their age, all had maternal love. Li Lingtian was a heaven-defying powerhouse, so they all snuggled up to him like little birds, rarely showing their maternal love. Now that Li Lingtian was injured, she felt extremely upset. If not for her strong will, she would have cried. Yes, I need to rest well. The divine dragon ring can only be opened with true dragon Qi. This secret must never be leaked. Li Lingtian leaned into Little White's arms as soon as he finished his sentence. He squeezed his head into Little White's arms as if he was looking for a safe and warm place to sleep. Little White blushed when it saw Li Lingtian like this. However, she understood that Li Lingtian's actions were instinctive. It was a human nature. Li Lingtian was like a child who wanted to find his mother. Otherwise, with his current injuries, he would not have any other thoughts. Gradually, Li Lingtian fell asleep in Little White's arms. This time, Li Lingtian's breathing was much more stable. He was truly sound asleep, just like a very tired person. After an unknown period of time, Little White looked at Li Lingtian, who was in its arms. The entire world felt peaceful and Li Lingtian was the quietest. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a blanket appeared in his storage pouch before he settled Li Lingtian down. She gently closed the door and a string of tears fell. His brother was so powerful in the past, but now he was injured like this. When he came to the deck of the spaceship, the tears on his face had already been wiped away. Long Da, find a quiet mansion in Nandu County. My brother needs to recuperate for a period of time. Whitey came to the front of the deck and looked at the flying ship. It said calmly, and its body emitted a powerful aura. Yes, I understand. Long Da nodded. There were outsiders here, so he naturally couldn't show too much respect. He had enough spirit stones to buy a mansion. However, Little White handed a storage bag to Long Da. She had countless spiritual stones on her. Since she was looking for a mansion, she naturally couldn't lack spiritual stones. The most important thing now was to find a mansion and settle down. How far is it to Nandu County City? Little White turned around and looked at Chu Meng. The current Little White's way of handling things was exactly the same as Li Lingtian's. If it were not for her shorter stature and the feminine charm on her face, no one would be able to tell who she was from Li Lingtian. At this speed, I still need about half an hour. I am more familiar with the matters of the mansion. Some time ago, the Baiming family rebelled and was severely punished by my father. The Baiming family was originally a spy of the Nanming Kingdom. That mansion is currently empty. You guys can move in first. I'll go and inform my father. Chu Meng looked at the distance of the sea and told him the distance to Nandu County. Then she offered to help. Li Lingtian was injured because of her. Now, they needed a place to settle down. If she could not help them, they would be left speechless. There's no need. My brother never owes anyone a favor. Xiao Bai was stunned for a moment. With Li Lingtian's cultivation base and heaven-defying nature, he naturally did not want to owe him a favor when he was in a difficult situation to avoid future troubles. I'll sell that mansion to you for 10 million spirit stones. Chu Meng didn't expect Little White to reject her so straightforwardly. She was stunned. However, he understood the logic, but he couldn't just stand by and watch. He thought of a way. After saying that, he stretched out his hand to Long Da, meaning for Long Da to give him the spirit stones. Miss, go take care of your brother. I'll handle these things. Long Da was worried that Little White would reject him again, so he quickly sent Little White away. This was because he knew that Xiao Bai was worried about Li Lingtian. There were many things that he had not thought of at the moment. Even though he was worried, he calmed himself down. This was the most critical moment for Li Lingtian and he had to shoulder all the challenges. All right. Whitey turned around and walked into the spaceship without hesitation. She definitely understood Long Da's character. As a member of the Dragon Clan, it was impossible for there to be any evil people. This young girl didn't know their identities when she helped them, so she definitely didn't have a motive. When he returned to his room, he kept his eyes on Li Lingtian and paid attention to the changes in Li Lingtian's aura. Finally, half an hour later, the spaceship stopped. Long Da found a beast carriage and Little White carried Li Lingtian into it. Chu Meng personally led Long Da and the other two to the mansion. The beast carriage sped forward for 20 minutes before it suddenly stopped. A huge mansion appeared in front of them. Whitey scanned the area with its divine sense. The entire mansion occupied a radius of 10 miles and was built against the mountain. The spiritual energy was extremely dense and the environment was quiet. It was definitely the best place for martial artists to cultivate. However, the mansion was completely silent. There was not a single person in sight. However, this was nothing to Xiao Bai and the others. If there was someone inside, they wouldn't need it. With Li Lingtian in its arms, Little White moved swiftly into the depths of the mansion. There was an independent courtyard in the depths of the mansion surrounded by man-made lakes. After finding a room, he brought Li Lingtian inside. Long Da was in charge of the matters outside. He was now responsible for the safety of the mansion. If Li Lingtian had not been injured, he would not have needed to do all these things. However, there was no array formation in this mansion now, so he had to guard it personally. I recommend the new book, Ancient Sage Myriad Ancient King. I welcome everyone to read and save it. I also want to vote for it. The new book needs everyone's support. Only with everyone's support can the new book go further. Chapter 567. Healing with the Universe. Jade, I'll go back first. I'll see him again when the time comes. Seeing Little White carrying Li Lingtian into the room, Chu Meng could not follow. He came outside and greeted Long Da with a trace of guilt on his face. No need. Long Da waved his hand. Now that he had a place to settle down, he naturally would not let anyone disturb him. Furthermore, Li Lingtian had many women around him, all of whom were peerless beauties. It was not good for outsiders to see them, lest they attract attention. He did not know what Li Lingtian was planning to do, but he must not allow anyone to disturb him or reveal his identity. Chu Meng did not mind. She only thought that Long Da and Little White were not feeling well after seeing Li Lingtian's condition, which was why they were being rude to her. When Li Lingtian woke up again, it was 3 days later. In 3 days, his cultivation had not improved at all. He was worse than an ordinary person. It was like a person who was about to die. Because he had no cultivation, his meridians were all broken and his body was weak. If it were an ordinary person, they would not be able to survive at all. Brother, you're awake. Little White's eyes were red as it stared at Li Lingtian. When it saw Li Lingtian open his eyes, it quickly greeted him with a sentimental expression. Yes. Li Lingtian acknowledged his words as he looked around. He soon realized that this was not an inn but a mansion where he had settled down. Little White, open the divine dragon ring and let Blue Moon and the others out. Now that they had settled down, they could call Tang Qingyue and the others out. Moreover, it was not a good thing to not have any cultivation at this time. Cultivation was a person's second life. Without cultivation, it was a fate worse than death for martial artists. However, this was not the first time Li Lingtian had experienced such a situation. The last time he went from Green Continent to Azure Continent, his cultivation base had also dropped, but he had quickly recovered in the end. Moreover, he had also obtained endless benefits. He had cultivated some skills that he had not cultivated before to the perfection of martial arts. The current Xuanzhou was terrifyingly powerful. Without cultivation, it would definitely not be able to survive. All right. Little White nodded. It extended its consciousness and connected with the divine dragon ring. Previously, Li Lingtian had mentioned that the divine dragon ring could not be activated without the true dragon's qi. A trace of pure true dragon qi extended out and wrapped around the divine dragon ring. With a thought, the divine dragon ring opened. His divine sense entered the divine dragon ring and came before Tang Qingyue and the others. She didn't know what to say when she saw how worried Tang Qingyue and the others were. Moreover, she had only entered with her divine sense. Little sister Xiaobai, what happened? Huangfu Yuyan asked when she sensed White Yi's divine sense. This was because Little White was the only one who went out at the beginning. Although they wanted to follow them out, the divine dragon ring had been shut off. It was obvious that Li Lingtian did not do it on purpose, but his divine consciousness was insufficient. Now that White Yi's divine sense had entered, they felt that something was wrong. Everyone was extremely worried. Let's not talk about it for now. Come out quickly. White Yi quickly withdrew its divine sense. Then, Tang Qingyue and the others appeared in the room at the same time. The first thing he did after coming out was to look around for Li Lingtian. However, when they saw the weak Li Lingtian lying on the bed, the girls were heartbroken. They did not know what had happened. Big brother, what's wrong? Husband, how are you? Lingtian, what happened? Big brother Lingtian. Young master. The girls were anxious as they quickly gathered around the bed and sized up Li Lingtian with their divine perception. When they realized that Li Lingtian's meridians were all broken and his cultivation base was gone, they were shocked to death. They could also sense that Li Lingtian's aura was extremely weak. How could they not feel their hearts ache for the once powerful Li Lingtian who had turned out like this? However, they did not dare to upset Li Lingtian at this point in time and forcefully endured the sadness in their hearts. I'm fine. I won't die yet. The power of destruction appeared in the space-time tunnel. My cultivation was exhausted, but fortunately, I survived in the end. Li Lingtian briefly explained what had happened. Just a few words had drained all his energy. The girls were heartbroken. Even the calm Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyue were at a loss. Yingying, you guys go out first. Let Blue Moon and the others heal me. Li Lingtian did not hesitate either. Time waits for no one. It was only right for them to be anxious. He didn't want to worry this slim and elegant beauty. The only way was to recover from his injuries. He could think of a way to deal with his cultivation in the future. Big Sister Mei you guys must definitely save Big Brother Ling Tian. I still want to become Big Brother Ling Tian's wife. Shen Yuan Yingying nodded obediently. Her face blushed as she whispered to Li Lingtian. As soon as he finished speaking, he left the room. Little White and Ji also left. Only Shen Mei Huangfu Yuyan, Qing Ling, Tang Qingyue, and Tang Ziming were left in the room. Watching Whitey and the others leave, Huangfu Yuyan cast a few restrictions to cover the room. Without hesitation, he sat on the bed and the 5 girls surrounded Li Lingtian. One after another, he cast a series of spells. In an instant, the dual cultivation technique was activated and 5 beams of true essence radiance transformed into colorful light that entered Li Lingtian's body. However, the dual cultivation that had been smooth in the past was now useless. Due to Li Lingtian's broken meridians, he was unable to circulate his quintessential essence. Li Lingtian spat out a mouthful of blood. Shen Mei was covered in scarlet blood, but she did not seem to mind at all. Instead, she hugged Li Lingtian at once. Husband, what happened? This won't do. Lingtian's meridians can't circulate his energy. I have to find a way to repair his meridians first. No, I have to repair my meridians. It's better to enter the dragon energy, but Big Brother Ling Tian can't withstand such dragon energy right now. Young Master doesn't have any cultivation base now. We are all martial emperors. Even if Young Master's meridians are good, he can't take it for the time being. The 5 girls were extremely worried as they began to discuss ways to help Li Lingtian repair his meridians. However, after a long time, there was no way at all. He could not even use dual cultivation, so he could not think of any other way. Sister Qingyue, ask Little White to come in. Little White should be able to open my husband's divine dragon ring. There's a piece of Cosmos Jade in the divine dragon ring. I want to use the Cosmos Jade to dual cultivate with my husband. Shen Mei suddenly thought of the Heaven and Earth Jade. This Heaven and Earth Jade was given to her by Empress Shen Yu. It was also a treasure for dual cultivation. He had never thought of a solution before, so he did not delve into it. Due to their rapid cultivation in the past, Li Lingtian had no use for the Cosmos Jade and had kept it in the Divine Dragon Ring. Now he could try using the Cosmos Jade. All right. Tang Qingyue quickly stood up and went to the door. She opened the restriction and the door and saw Little White and the others in the courtyard. Little sister Xiao Bai, come here for a moment. Tang Qingyue shouted when she saw Little White in the courtyard. Sister Qingyue, what's wrong? Xiao Bai was not embarrassed at all. Although she knew that Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue were dual practitioners, she could not be bothered to be shy for Li Lingtian's sake. Dual cultivation won't do either. Lingtian's cultivation is gone, so our true origin can't enter. Go and open the Divine Dragon Ring. There's a piece of Cosmos Jade inside. Try it out with the Cosmos Jade. Tang Qingyue said hurriedly. She then pulled Xiao Bai's hand and walked into the room. Seeing Shen Mei and the others on the bed wearing clothes, Little White couldn't help but be startled. Wasn't dual cultivation supposed to be like that? Why were they all wearing clothes? The girls could not help but blush. They knew what Xiao Bai was thinking, but they did not say anything because Li Lingtian was not in the mood to do so. Little White came before Li Lingtian. With a flick of its divine consciousness, it unleashed its true dragon aura and sent its divine consciousness into the Divine Dragon Ring. She began to search the Divine Dragon Ring. She was shocked to see the wealth in Li Lingtian's Divine Dragon Ring. She knew that Li Lingtian's wealth was astounding, but she did not expect him to have so much. There were mountains of spirit stones, huge piles of weapons and treasures, countless cultivation techniques and skills, jade scrolls, and jade bottles. All of these were piled up like a small mountain. However, Li Lingtian had placed the precious items on a shelf. Every item was grouped together according to their level, making it easy to find them. Whitey's spirit sense searched for the most precious jade slips. 2 minutes later, Whitey's divine sense withdrew. At the same time, a jade pendant appeared in front of everyone. Then, Little White handed the jade pendant to Tang Qingyue and left the room. After Little White left, Tang Qingyue gave the jade pendant to Shen Mei. She went to the bed and surrounded Li Lingtian. A stream of quintessential essence stabilized Li Lingtian and waited for Shen Mei to use the Cosmos Jade to save him. Shen Mei didn't hesitate at all. She threw the Universe Jade into the air and a true Yuan Dynasty Jade pendant wrapped around it. At the same time, she released a wisp of blood essence. The blood essence and the Cosmos Jade came into contact. Immediately, a ray of light appeared. Shen Mei cast a spell with one hand and pressed the other on Li Lingtian's head. Her true essence slowly entered Li Lingtian's body. Li Lingtian's body began to tremble as his face turned red. He looked like he was in extreme pain. Heaven and Earth Yin Yang reincarnation. After Shen Mei finished casting her spell, she allowed the Cosmos Jade to float in the air as she placed her hands on Li Lingtian's head. Instantly, the true essence circulated between the two of them through the Qiankuan Jade. Tang Qingyue and the others were filled with anticipation when they saw this. At the very least, Li Lingtian could not rule out the possibility of using quintessential essence. Gradually, the light from the Heaven and Earth Jade enveloped the two of them. Moreover, the mysterious light emitted by the Universe Jade also entered their bodies. The Cosmos Jade gradually shrank before it vanished into nothingness. The final ray of light vanished and entered Li Lingtian's body. Sister Qingyue, Sister Yuyan, hurry up. Shen Mei's face was pale as she shouted at Tang Qingyue and the others. As Li Lingtian's body was now activated by the Universe Jade, his quintessential essence could circulate slightly. This was the critical moment for dual cultivation. If he missed the best opportunity, the power of the Universe Jade would be wasted. Chapter 568. Plan for a great plan and fight for the world. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. One spell after another was quickly executed, and the 5 true essence fused together. Finally, it entered Li Lingtian's body. However, they could only infuse a tiny bit of their true essence into it. As Li Lingtian did not have any cultivation, his powerful true essence and wisdom could not be supplemented. The 5 of them had serious expressions on their faces, but they gradually revealed a trace of gratification. In Li Lingtian's body, the 2 meridians had been opened and repaired, allowing his true essence to slowly circulate. After 7 days, Tang Qingyue and the others walked out of the room. Their faces were obviously thinner and haggard. However, the expressions on the 5 people's faces calmed down. Sister Qingyue, how is my brother? Xiao Bai hurried over. They were more worried outside than inside because they couldn't see what was going on inside. Shenyuan Yingying and Ji were also extremely worried when they saw Tang Qingyue and the others coming out and asking. All right, Ling Tian's injuries have temporarily recovered. He can heal himself now. His cultivation will recover quickly after a period of time. He won't cultivate again. Tang Qingyue quickly explained Li Lingtian's situation when she saw the anxious look on Xiao Bai and the others' faces. She felt much more relaxed after she finished explaining. No matter what, Li Lingtian's life was saved. His injuries were able to heal automatically. After a few days, the 5 of them continued to circulate their true essence and finally managed to repair a portion of Li Lingtian's meridians. That's great. As long as Brother Ling Tian can heal himself, he can enter the Divine Dragon Ring to cultivate. At that time, his injuries will recover quickly. Xiao Bai and the rest were elated when they received news of Li Lingtian. To them, they would feel that something was missing if any one of them was missing, let alone Li Lingtian who was injured. Sister Yuyan, you guys go back and rest first. I'll go take care of Big Brother Ling Tian. With Xiao Xiao by my side, we can take care of Big Brother Ling Tian too. Shenyuan Yingying said as she looked at Tang Qingyue and the others. They had been helping Li Lingtian heal all this while and were both mentally and physically exhausted. Even a man would not be able to withstand it, let alone a girl. The only reason they were able to persevere was because of Li Lingtian. Even if they died, they would not give up on Li Lingtian. This belief allowed the 5 of them to persevere. All right then. Tang Ziming and the others nodded. They did not even have the strength to stand now and almost fell to the ground. Xiao Xiao, Qing Ping, and the others quickly helped Tang Qingyue and the others back to their rooms. In the past few days, Long Da and Xiao Bai had tidied up everything in the courtyard. He had bought a dozen maids and servants outside to take care of this mansion. In such a large mansion, even 100 or 200 maids would be too few, let alone a dozen maids. However, this place only needed to be cleaned up a little. Furthermore, they were worried that they would disturb Li Lingtian's rest, so they only found a dozen of them. On the other hand, Long Da had specially gone out to find some decent guards to guard the mansion. This mansion had a total of real entrances. The middle was almost independent. Outsiders could not enter the innermost few courtyards. The servants lived outside. The place where Li Lingtian and the others lived was the place where the family of the Baiming family's head used to live. Naturally, it was the best place. After Tang Qingyue and the rest returned to their rooms to rest, Little White went to Li Lingtian's room and watched him recuperate in the Genesis Luck technique. Li Lingtian's face looked a little haggard, but his complexion had changed. However, Li Lingtian could only channel his cultivation technique at the moment. He had no cultivation base and his channeling speed was very slow. Xiao Xiao will wait here. Little White turned around and spoke to Little White behind him. It then sat on the chair beside Li Lingtian's bed and waited for Li Lingtian to finish his cultivation. The 2 women waited for 3 hours before Li Lingtian stopped. Little White, take care of this. I'm going to the Dragon Chi of the 3,000 worlds to recuperate. When Li Lingtian woke up and saw Little White there, he spoke without a second thought. All right, be careful. Xiao Bai nodded. Li Lingtian always had his own plans. At this time, she naturally did not have any objections. Li Lingtian used his divine consciousness and vanished, leaving only a ring on the bed. Xiao Bai quickly put away the divine dragon ring and closed her eyes to meditate. She used her divine consciousness to sense the divine dragon ring because she needed to know Li Lingtian's condition at all times. While they were recuperating in the mansion, Chu Meng had already returned to the prefecture. Qing Xian had 48 counties, which meant 48 commanderies. Nandu County was equivalent to a country, but it was 1 level lower than Qing Xian. Chu Tianlan, the king of Nandu Commandery, was already an 8th heaven martial emperor. The cultivation of an 8th heaven martial emperor was considered a super expert among the rulers of commanderies. There were countless experts below. These experts had all formed an army. In Nandu Prefecture, as long as one's cultivation reached warrior spirit, they could join the army and become a member of the commandery army. When one reached the rank of martial king, they would basically be a team leader. When one reached the rank of martial grandmaster, they would be a small commander. The higher one's cultivation was, the higher one's official position would be. Apart from the army, there was also a powerful group of elders. The powerhouses in the elder group were all martial monarch realm experts. Nandu County had a total of 3 million soldiers, all of whom were warrior spirits and martial kings. There were also countless martial ancestors and martial emperors. Martial honors were generals, and martial emperors were commanders. However, these troops were only used for the most basic defense. The real battle would be between martial supremes and martial emperors. Over the years, Nandu Prefecture had been constantly harassed by other commanderies. Not only the commanderies under Qing Xian, but also the experts from other countries had come to harass Nandu Prefecture from time to time. Chu Tianlan had been confused by the fight for Nandu Prefecture's resources for the past 2 years. On this day, as soon as he came out of the meeting hall, he saw Princess Chu Meng returning in a sorry state. Chu Meng was his treasure. Other than Chu Meng, he had a few sisters and brothers. In the royal family, there was no relationship between brothers and sisters. There was only competition and assassination. Meng, what's wrong? Chu Tianlan looked at Chu Meng, who didn't have a single guard by her side, and suddenly, a murderous intent surged in her heart. Father, when I went out to train, I encountered a sea dragon beast. Aunt Yun and the others have all died. When Chu Meng mentioned Aunt Yun, she clearly felt a hint of disappointment on her face. Aunt Yun had brought her up and was almost no different from her mother. Now she had seen Aunt Yun die in order to save her. Sea Dragon Beast. There's no sea dragon beast in Nandu County. How did you get it back? Tianlan's heart was filled with killing intent. As the ruler of a commandery, nothing could be hidden from his eyes. Someone must have done something in secret, but he didn't want Chu Meng to see anything. He was curious about how Chu Meng had returned safely. Even Aunt Yun had fallen as a rank 3 martial emperor. Chu Meng was only a martial king. He was indeed curious about how she had returned safely. At the most critical moment, a person appeared and saved me. He was also seriously injured and almost died. Chu Meng recounted everything that had happened that day without missing a single detail. After she finished speaking, she looked at Tianlan. Yes, you did a good job on this matter. Don't tell anyone. In the future, don't disturb them so easily. Nandu County has been in some trouble recently. Countless experts have quietly entered Nandu County. Our Nandu County is in danger. This time, perhaps our Nandu Prefecture will disappear from this world. This Nandu Prefecture will belong to someone else. Tianlan pondered for a long time. From Chu Meng's description, she could not find any reason to say that Li Lingtian was a spy. After all, it happened too suddenly and he was severely injured. If they had any schemes, they would definitely be able to scheme against the Chu clan. Moreover, in the face of a true expert in a great battle, schemes were useless. Menger knows. Chu Meng nodded and returned to her palace. Although Nandu County was a county, it was no different from a big family. However, this family had to listen to the orders of other countries. If they were attacked, Nandu Prefecture would be merged by other commanderies, and their resources would be fought for. Similarly, there were countless experts in the commandery. Experts also had families, and they all wanted to compete for the throne of the commandery. This was a world where the strong were respected. There was naturally no such thing as rebellion. It could only be said that the throne was a symbol of the power of the strong. As the days passed, Li Lingtian's injuries had completely recovered. Marshal Saint Ming Luo and the other two also began to gather information from the outside to relay some news to Li Lingtian. Gradually, Li Lingtian gained a certain understanding of the place. Nandu Prefecture was one of the 48 commanderies under Qing. It was a very important commandery, and its resources occupied half of Qing's world. In the past, it was relatively quiet. Only some experts came to the sea and mountain ranges to hunt demonic beasts and sea beasts in search of medicinal herbs. However, in the past few years, for some reason, the surrounding countries had surrounded Qing. The 48 commanderies below them were also fighting each other. It was as if they were about to leave Qing. Such a situation posed a huge threat to Qing. Li Lingtian had already made up his mind after learning about this. I have a rough understanding of the situation in Qing. The situation is not that good. My cultivation base can only recover by 1 realm per day. During this period of time, we should try our best to gain a foothold in Nandu Prefecture. After that, we can stabilize Nandu Prefecture and slowly resolve the crisis in Qing. After that, we will use Qing to unify the 36 kingdoms and compete with the kingdoms to establish our own dynasty. However, during this period of time, we have to understand the surrounding countries of Qing and secretly recruit some experts. Let Ming Luo and Yun Hao do this. Sky Yao and Long Da are responsible for safety. I'll try my best to recover my cultivation during this period of time and use our original strengths to build a powerful army. On this day, Li Lingtian gathered Tang Qingyue and the rest to discuss the next step. He didn't plan to start from the Qing kingdom. Instead, he planned to start from the commanderies below and slowly develop a stronger force. The world of a country and the world of a sect had their own benefits. A world war between countries would affect countless low-level martial artists, but it could be easily managed. Chapter 569. Planning the world. I think countless experts have come to Nandu County. It's not that simple. Huangfu Yuyan waited for Li Lingtian to finish his sentence. They had been handling some matters during this period of time, so the information they received was more direct and they could glean some information. Li Lingtian's arrangements were definitely stable, but there were some things that he had to consider. It was often the smallest detail that could cause a shocking change. Tell me. Li Lingtian nodded. He was not worried about these women because they were all extremely intelligent and had many things to consider. It was impossible for him to be more thoughtful than them. There was another problem. The things he considered and the steps he took were all steady and magnanimous. He displayed the manly demeanor to the extreme, but he lacked some detail. It just so happened that Huangfu Yuyan and the others were all peerless beauties. They were also extremely meticulous. Girls were naturally meticulous, so they naturally considered things very carefully. Ever since he cultivated the 5 elements will of the way and the 9 heaven stars, he understood one thing. This world was about balance. When things reached an extreme, they would reverse. The balance of yin and yang, the matching of men and women, the fusion of grandeur and detail. Even if it was not perfect, there would not be any mistakes in the basic principles of sacrifice. In this world, there must be something strange about the abnormal situation. Although the wars in the Xian continent have been going on for countless years, they rarely involve the Qing Xian kingdom. Qing Xian is currently being looked down upon by the other kingdoms. There must be something that we don't know about. More importantly, Lord Nandan's experts are increasing. Something must be happening in Nandu Prefecture. Nandu Prefecture has become the center of the war. A slight change will cause a huge impact. Although Huangfu Yuyan didn't know about Nandu Prefecture, from her experience, there were definitely some secrets that outsiders couldn't know. In her mind, she should have infiltrated the Nandu Commandery. The people in Nandu Commandery must know some secrets, which was why she reminded Li Lingtian. Sister Yuyan is right. The resources of Nandu Prefecture are indeed powerful, but it's not to the extent that experts from other countries and kingdoms would compete for them. After all, if the other countries want to merge with Qing Xian, it would be too far for them to do so. Hence, they would not want to merge with Qing Xian for this. Tang Qingyue agreed with Huangfu Yuyan. They were both intelligent and good at thinking. Naturally, she had many things on her mind. Now that Li Lingtian was faced with a huge decision, as his woman, she naturally had to give him advice. What about you guys? Li Lingtian immediately became alert after hearing Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyue's conversation. He understood many things. Although he had thought a lot, he had always been the only one who had his own thoughts. Now that he had Tang Qingyue and the others by his side to remind him, he would make fewer mistakes in his decisions. He looked at Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyue with a gentle gaze and nodded in satisfaction. Then he asked Tang Ziming and the others, Sister Yuyan and Sister Qingyue are right. Yeah, although we didn't think much of it, we also felt that this matter wasn't that simple. Let's attack Nandu County first. By the way, aren't Ming Luo and the others outside? Let one of them go out and enter Nandu Commandery to see what's going on. Tang Ziming and the rest agreed with Huangfu Yuyan after Li Lingtian asked. Even though they wanted Li Lingtian to be the man who looked down on the world and controlled everything, they had to be wary of any plots or schemes to prevent Li Lingtian from falling for them. Moreover, they had just arrived and had yet to gain a foothold. They could not act rashly. You guys reminded me. This is a good thing. However, we can develop our forces on the surface while developing our forces in the dark. This is a two-pronged approach. Li Lingtian nodded with a smile on his face. After that, he spoke of his plans again. This time, his plan was to recover his cultivation while refining pills. He would use heaven-defying pills to control all factions. In the past few days, his cultivation had already recovered to Tier 9 warrior. The speed of his recovery was extremely fast. He had also discovered a secret, which was that the rapid consumption would be followed by a rapid recovery. Naturally, refining pills was one of the fastest ways for him to expend energy. He had never been afraid of anyone in alchemy. Now he was destined to develop in this place, so he wanted to establish his own power. In the Qing Xian country, martial emperors were already the strongest experts. They had never seen a martial saint before. However, Li Lingtian knew that there were definitely martial saints in each country. Otherwise, each country would not be a country. It was just that those experts hid themselves and were rarely seen. Moreover, in the Black Continent, the hierarchy of national forces was very strict. Commanderies had to have at least a first heaven martial emperor expert. Each country had to have a ninth heaven martial emperor expert, and each kingdom had to have a martial saint expert. As for empires, they had countless experts. In fact, the power level of this country was just a base number. A real commandery had countless martial emperor realm experts. Otherwise, it would not be able to withstand the attacks of countless enemies. One country had to govern dozens of commanderies. One could imagine how powerful they were. Li Lingtian was well aware of these basic things. He also understood that the more powerful a country's powerhouse was, the deeper they would hide. Big Brother Lingtian's plan is indeed not bad. He's steady and magnanimous. He's definitely a trump card to win people's hearts. No matter where he goes, there are the most low-level martial artists. Other low-level martial artists often gather together. The power of unity is enough to shake the foundation of a country. No matter how powerful a country is, the weakest is still the low-level martial artists. Without low-level martial artists, there will be no popularity. Tang Ziming said with a smile. She was in full agreement with Li Lingtian's plan to use pills to recruit warriors. This way, no one would dare to offend Li Lingtian so easily. In this way, Li Lingtian would be able to gain a foothold. Even the experts of other countries did not dare to easily provoke alchemists. With my husband's recovery speed, I believe that I'll be able to recover to the peak of the third heaven martial emperor realm in 2 months. That piece of heaven and earth jade has brought heaven-defying benefits to the 5 of us. When we dual cultivate again, our cultivation speed will be even faster. Now, we can already share our cultivation and true essence. Shun Mei smiled charmingly as she watched Li Lingtian's cultivation base recover rapidly. She was overjoyed. Fortunately, he had the Cosmos Jade this time. Otherwise, Li Lingtian's cultivation base would not have recovered in such a short time. 2 months' time to a martial artist was simply just the time of a blink of an eye. The Cosmos Jade is indeed heaven-defying. My 5 elements perfection will has become even purer. It's a pity that I didn't find any extreme ice. Otherwise, I could have reached the 4th heaven of the heavenly Tao. Li Lingtian's face was also full of smiles. Every time his cultivation base fell, he would recover quickly. Moreover, he had gained many benefits from it. The benefits were unimaginable. It was also an incomprehensible benefit. Such a thing had never happened in this world. With young master's cultivation, as long as he recovers to the martial arts grandmaster realm, ordinary experts are no match for young master at all. Qing Ling behaved naturally in front of Li Lingtian because Huangfu Yuyan and the rest treated her well like sisters and did not treat her as a maid. Li Lingtian was elated to see Huangfu Yuyan and the others like this. He did not treat Qing Ling as a maid. As time passed, feelings would grow. Besides, people were not plants and could not be heartless. In the past, he treated Qing Ling as a maid and let her serve him. However, after being together for a long time, he had changed a lot. Qing Ling's position in his heart was getting higher and higher. Do you think we don't exist? What's with the dual cultivation nowadays? Little White and Ge looked at Shun Mei and the others, their faces flushed. For a young girl, these topics were a little too serious. Ge, Xiaobai and Shenyuan Yingying were all looking at Li Lingtian and the others. Huangfu Yuyan, Tang Qingyue, Qing Ling, Shun Mei and Tang Ziming were all Li Lingtian's wives. It was normal for them to speak amongst themselves. However, the 3 of them were a little shy in front of him. All right. Is there anything else that the 3 of you don't know? Right, little sister Yingying. Didn't you say that you wanted to become Big Brother Lingtian's wife? If you have forgotten, I haven't forgotten. Tang Ziming laughed sweetly. Then, she looked at Shenyuan Yingying. Thinking of Shenyuan Yingying, she started to tease her. I did say that, but not now. We'll talk about it after Big Brother Lingtian has settled down. Shenyuan Yingying's face turned red. She was worried about Li Lingtian that day, so she said that. However, she never regretted saying that because she liked Li Lingtian. From a friend to a lover, she could only become Li Lingtian's wife if she wanted to cultivate. Besides, she was extremely happy to be with Li Lingtian. Naturally, she would be delighted if this continued for the rest of her life. Meng. When Li Lingtian saw Tang Ziming and the others change the topic, he glared at her. How could he talk about these things? He didn't care about these things now. He was thinking about how to deal with the matters in Xuanzhou. Although he had just arrived in Xuanzhou, he had to have a plan. Everything depends on man, success or failure depends on heaven. All right, I won't talk about this anymore. That's about it. I'm a little tired. I'm going back to rest. You should discuss it with Sister and Sister Yuyan, Tang Ziming said coquettishly. Since the matter had been discussed, she naturally did not want to delay her sleep. During this period of time, he was very tired, both physically and mentally. After saying that, he pulled Qingling and walked out. The other girls also left, leaving behind Huangfu Yuyan and Tang Qingyue. Naturally, the two of them knew what was going on. Tang Ziming and the rest wanted to give Li Lingtian and the other two a chance to be alone. After all, everyone had been exhausted and depressed during this period of time. Now that Li Lingtian's injuries were healed, his mood naturally improved as well. He was going to return to his normal and happy life. Chapter 570. Growing Power, 1. Nandu County was originally calm on the surface, but the sky was no longer calm. This was because a pill shop had appeared in Nandu County. To a county city as large as Nandu County, it was nothing. There were more than 10,000 pill shops in the Nandu County city. The appearance of a pill shop was like an extra ant in a group of ants. However, the elixir store that had just appeared sold extremely precious elixirs. Pills from the 1st to the 5th grade were all peerless pills. What was the concept of peerless pills? It was a quality that had never been heard of in Xuanzhou. A peerless pill was many times stronger than a pill of the same grade. Moreover, it was countless times more miraculous than the level of medicinal pills. Often, peerless medicinal pills brought endless benefits to martial artists. They had not expected that the legendary peerless medicinal pill in this world had already appeared. Moreover, someone was selling it. Such a matter immediately spread among countless martial artists. Did you know that a peerless pill has appeared in North City? Supreme grade pills? Are you kidding me? There's no such thing as a supreme grade pill in this world. It's just a fantasy of pill refiners. Even if a supreme grade pill appears, we won't be able to get it. No one will take out a supreme grade pill to sell. In a place where martial artists gathered, two martial artists were drinking tea and chatting. The former was a middle-aged rank 3 martial arts grandmaster, while the latter was also a martial arts grandmaster, but he had already reached rank 7. Their words immediately aroused the curiosity of countless nosy martial artists in the tea house. They all listened attentively. In this world, gossip spread the fastest. No matter what news it was, it spread throughout the entire city in less than a moment as if it had wings. Brotherling, you probably don't know. What do you think this is? The middle-aged martial arts grandmaster had a smug look on his face. It was as if he had seen the shocked expression of the expert surnamed Ling. He was extremely pleased because when he saw the peerless medicinal pill, he was also extremely shocked. As he spoke, he took out a jade bottle with one hand and poured out 2 pills. The pill was suspended in the air by the Zhanyuan, and immediately, a fragrant smell spread out. The entire tea house was filled with a faint fragrance, which made people's spirits rise. The pill was light purple and crystal clear. It emitted a faint spiritual qi, but anyone with a discerning eye could tell how magical this pill was at a glance. The appearance of the pill attracted everyone's attention. They stared at the pill in a daze. Gradually, their eyes became fiery, revealing greed, and even more shock. A peerless purple jade pill. It really is a peerless medicinal pill. The Tier 7 martial arts grandmaster who was addressed as Brother Ling exclaimed. He was a martial arts grandmaster powerhouse, so he had naturally used a lot of pills. Although the medicinal pills he used in the past were also 4th grade, they were all low-grade medicinal pills. Compared to this purple jade pill, the quality was completely different. At a glance, he could tell that this purple jade pill was of peerless quality because there was no impurity in this pill. It even carried a mysterious aura. This mysterious aura was a unique mysterious effect. At this moment, how could he not be shocked? A peerless purple jade pill? There really are peerless pills in this world. Tier 4. Pills are all of peerless quality. Tier 1, 2, and 3 pills should also be of peerless quality. Just what kind of pill refiner can refine such a pill? What a miraculous peerless medicinal pill. Brother Qin, where did you buy your peerless medicinal pill? Yeah, where did you buy it? Let's go buy some too. The power of a peerless medicinal pill is incomparably magical. You must not miss it. In the tea house, countless warriors stared greedily at the peerless purple jade pill in the air. They were all incomparably excited. Supreme grade pills were a shock to every cultivator's heart and mind. They were a shock to their imaginations. In this world, supreme grade pills were legends. They could only exist in legends. It was impossible for them to appear in front of the world. But now, this peerless medicinal pill had really appeared. It was like an iron tree blossoming. The impossible had become possible. They were shocked and asked about the source of the pills because it was unrealistic to fight for these 2 pills here. Since someone had bought a peerless medicinal pill, it meant that this medicinal pill shop definitely still existed. He could just go and buy it when the time came. Hee, this peerless medicinal pill is not cheap. The middle-aged martial arts grandmaster chuckled and kept the pill. As he spoke, his eyes swept across the other martial artists. Seeing the shock of these martial artists, his heart was incomparably happy. Isn't Brother Qin speaking nonsense? Since it's a peerless grade pill, it definitely won't be cheap. That's right. Even if it's 100 times more expensive than ordinary pills, we still have to buy some to break through the bottleneck. Brother Qin, don't keep me in suspense. Tell me, where is it? That's right. If the medicinal pills are sold out, we won't be happy for nothing if we go. Some of the ancient martial art practitioners started to get anxious when they saw the middle-aged Wu Zong's unhurried manner. Pills are indeed not cheap, but I have good news for you. That's a peerless pill. You can buy it with spirit stones for the first 10 days, but there's a limit to how many you can buy. After 10 days, you won't need spirit stones. Instead, you'll need medicinal herbs and natural treasures. As for other methods, you can go and find out for yourself. Oh right. You have to queue up for 10 days. Every day, you will have 300 chances to buy pills. After the middle-aged Wu Zong finished speaking, he laughed out loud and the 2 of them opened a tea house. In the tea house, countless warriors were silent for a moment. After a short period of silence, they finally exploded with endless power. In an instant, the tea house was empty. Chapter 571. Chu Tianlan's Plan, 1. It wasn't just one place, but the entire county city. The entire county city was talking about the North City's Divine Pill Pavilion. Without a doubt, the peerless medicinal pills of the Divine Pill Pavilion had become the most sensational matter in the county city. The Li residence in the North City had now become the Divine Pill Pavilion. The pills that came out of the Divine Pill Pavilion were all peerless pills. Although the price of peerless pills was several times higher than ordinary pills, the number of martial artists who bought pills was several times higher than usual. Father, the person who saved me that day seemed to be an alchemy saint. In the prefecture, Chu Meng walked up to Chu Tianlan with a surprised look on her face. She was as excited as if she had just found a treasure. She had told the rumors outside. She had never expected that the person who saved her was actually in existence like a saint alchemist. How could she not be shocked now? Pill Saint Master? 3 saint alchemists of Xuanzhou. Could it be that Nandu County is here? Chu Tianlan's face was filled with shock. What kind of existence were the 3 saint alchemists of the Xian continent? They had actually come to his Nandu County. What kind of information was this? Father, isn't he one of the 3 saint alchemists? He's even stronger than a saint alchemist. Look at this. Chu Meng took out the jade bottle and handed it to Chu Tianlan. The excitement on her face did not disappear from the beginning. What kind of existence was a peerless medicinal pill? It had never been seen in legends, but it had appeared in Nandu County. Moreover, it was the young man who had saved her. If he's not one of the 3 saint alchemists, how do you know he's a saint alchemist? A peerless purple jade pill. Chu Tianlan glanced at Chu Meng. He was a martial emperor and had been the king of a commandery for hundreds of years. He was an old fox. Naturally, he did not believe in such things. He thought that his precious daughter had been deceived. What kind of existence was a saint alchemist? If he could believe it casually, there were a lot of saint alchemists in this world. However, when he saw the medicinal pills in the jade bottle, he was instantly shocked. His eyeballs almost fell to the ground. This was because the quality of the pill in the jade bottle was even better than that of a top-grade pill. This quality already had no impurities. It was a peerless pill. Coupled with the mysterious aura emitted from the surface, this pill was 100% peerless. He did not expect a peerless medicinal pill to appear in this world. It really exceeded his imagination. That's right. Just 2 days ago, when you were in seclusion, there were rumors that a peerless pill had appeared. I didn't believe it, so I went to inquire about it personally. I didn't think that this pill would actually come from the young man who saved me. In this world, other than a saint alchemist, there's no one else who can refine a supreme-grade pill. Even a saint alchemist doesn't have the ability to refine a supreme-grade pill, right? Otherwise, no one in the Black Continent can refine a peerless pill. Chu Meng voiced her speculation. Coupled with the rumors that Li Lingtian was a holy alchemist, it seemed that he was indeed a holy alchemist. He is indeed powerful. I didn't expect that there would really be an alchemist in this world who could refine a peerless medicinal pill. This alchemy technique has already surpassed the scope of a saint alchemist. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to refine a supreme-grade pill. To be able to sell a supreme-grade pill, he must have an easy time refining a supreme-grade pill. I'll send someone to follow this matter. If they don't target Nandu County, it might be a turning point for Nandu County. Chu Tianlan looked at the pill in shock while listening to Chu Meng's thoughts and opinions. In the end, she decided that the other party's background was a little mysterious and she could not come into contact with him easily. However, he couldn't offend them. Even if he offended a country, he couldn't offend a saint alchemist. This saint alchemist was definitely not inferior to the 3 saint alchemists of the Xian continent. One had to know that the status of the 3 saint alchemists was something that even the 3 great emperors did not dare to provoke easily. They even had to be polite to the saint alchemists. A saint alchemist had heaven-defying benefits for an empire. Popularity, resources, and status were all closely linked to the fate of the empire. Each of the 3 empires had a saint alchemist. Pill saint masters were known as the empire's exclusive pill masters, and their pills rarely leaked out. Therefore, the empire controlled countless powerful pills, which also controlled the fate of countless kingdoms and countries. The empire could take out top-notch pills and reward meritorious officials. This way, the empire would be as stable as a rock. Now, a saint alchemist who could refine peerless pills had appeared in Nandu County. What did this represent? It represented destruction and hope. They would either destroy Nandu Prefecture or even Qing, or push Nandu Prefecture and Qing to the level of a kingdom. Those who understood could naturally see the crux of it. I understand. Chu Meng nodded, but she couldn't help but be shocked. He looked so young, but he could actually refine a peerless pill. No wonder his cultivation was so strong at such a young age. He also thought that with such alchemy skills, he naturally did not have to worry about injuries. Even if he was injured, he would recover very quickly. All right, you're familiar with him. You can go out with him, but you can't make others dislike him. A person like him isn't someone we can offend. Sigh, Nandu Prefecture is already at the cusp of the storm. This way, the future of Nandu Prefecture is uncertain. It will either be destroyed or reborn. Alchemy Saint. Chu Tianlan sighed after he finished speaking. Even though he was the ruler of the country and a martial emperor powerhouse who controlled 1 million troops and had countless resources, he knew very well that a saint alchemist was definitely a godlike existence in front of him. He could be completely ignored in front of a saint alchemist. He walked step by step into the palace. Nandu County was in turmoil now, and the army was constantly mobilized to defend the border and the county city to prevent it from being attacked by other counties. After returning to the secret chamber under the palace, he made a hand gesture. Silk. A faint sound appeared in the air, and an old man in gray appeared in front of him. The old man had a respectful expression on his face. Go to Qing Kingdom and pay a visit to His Majesty the King. Give this to the king personally. No matter what happens, you have to hand it over to the king. Xian'an Iron Wind Cavalry. This is the king's secret signal. If the other party can take it, give this to the king. Ask him to send someone over. Tianlan said lightly, but his expression was extremely serious. Even if he was the ruler of the commandery, he couldn't bear the responsibility. If something went wrong, not only the entire commandery, but even Qing would be destroyed. This subordinate will definitely handle this matter well. The gray-robed elder took the jade slip. The jade slip strangely disappeared into his palm and slowly entered his bloodline. One could imagine how important this communication was. If he kept the jade slip in his bloodline, no one would know the secret even if something happened. Hurry up and come back. Tianlan instructed again as she walked towards the front of the secret chamber. This subordinate will send the news to Qing within 10 days. The gray-robed old man disappeared in a strange manner after he spoke. His body movement was extremely strange. If Li Lingtian were to see such a body movement, he would be shocked because it was capable of ignoring the existence of space. Just like the space silk banner and the thunderclap wings, they came and went without a trace. When they came and went, there would not even be a fluctuation in space. The county city was in an uproar, but Li Lingtian and the rest remained calm in the mansion. To them, the commotion at the Divine Pill Pavilion was within their expectations. However, he had sold quite a number of medicinal pills this time and obtained countless spirit stones. This was because he was currently plundering wealth, including experts, to establish his own faction. In the past, peerless medicinal pills were only a few hundred to 1,000 spirit stones. However, his medicinal pills were now several times more expensive than before. A peerless vitality pill costs 1,000 spirit stones each. A peerless spirit binding pill costs 5,000 spirit stones each. A peerless void spirit pill costs 10,000 spirit stones each. A peerless violet jade pill costs 100,000 spirit stones each. And a peerless azure yang pill costs 1,000,000 spirit stones each. As for the cleansing dust pill, it cost 10 million spirit stones each. However, outsiders were not qualified to buy this pill. Only the internal members of the Divine Pill Pavilion could use it. There was also the Grade 7 Great Cyclic Pellet, which was also a peerless existence. Similarly, the Grade 7 Great Cyclic Pellet could only be used by the higher-ups of the Divine Pill Pavilion. These things were naturally leaked out secretly. This way, some experts naturally knew what was going on. This was the establishment of a force. Even so, no one dared to stop it despite knowing that it was to rope in experts. No one could stop them because martial artists could not lack medicinal pills. It was very difficult for a martial honor or martial emperor to increase their cultivation without a Grade 6 medicinal pill. A Grade 6 medicinal pill was already very rare, let alone a Grade 7 medicinal pill. Moreover, it was a Grade 7 Great Rejuvenating Pill. It was a peerless pill. Not to mention a martial emperor, even a martial saint would not be able to resist this temptation. In other words, this alchemy saint had already grasped the lifeblood of countless super powerhouses. Yes, I got 300 million lower spiritual stones today. Not bad. Tang Ziming said happily. Seeing that she had earned so many spirit stones in one day, she was naturally extremely happy. These few days, I believe that husband will have used up more than half of the pills on him. However, after these few days, we will gather some experts. At that time we will be able to establish a force. Shan Mei and the others had never been short of spirit stones, so spirit stones were just a number to them. Yes. After these few days, we won't be exchanging pills for spirit stones. We'll just collect some experts. I believe that the other experts are also eyeing our Divine Pill Pavilion covetously. I hope they won't seek death so easily. Otherwise, if something happens, it won't look good for everyone. Although Li Lingtian said that, he did not show it on his face. It was as if he was welcoming trouble. This way, Li Lingtian would not have to find an excuse to kill the powerhouses who came. As long as there were no martial saints here, no one could threaten them. Moreover, even if a martial saint came, they might not be able to do anything to them. Chapter 572. The Country Ruler's Visit. There were still 3 powerful martial saints here. The 3 martial saints were all at the second firmament of the martial saint realm. The heavenly demon monarch was at the peak of the second firmament. He also had another high-grade saint artifact in his hand. This saint artifact was not much different from his heaven-startling hammer, but it had endless magical uses and was even more domineering than the heaven-startling hammer. Li Ling Tian had personally refined it for him, and it contained the Ice Frost Flame. Normally, opponents would be strength type when they saw a heavenly demon king. They wouldn't expect a heavenly demon king's treasure to contain terrifying destructive icy flames. It was an extremely sinister method. Martial Saint Ming Luo and Martial Saint Yun Hao were also second heaven martial saints. Although they knew that Li Lingtian's cultivation had dropped due to his injuries, they dared not show any disrespect or disloyalty. They were already numb to the sight of Li Lingtian's cultivation base recovering by 1 realm every day. Alright, Meng Meng, when I'm concocting pills tomorrow, you follow Qing Ling and help. Qingyue and Yu Yan, you guys handle the other matters. Mei and Yingying, you guys just focus on your cultivation. During this period of time, let's not leave this place. When my cultivation recovers to Wu Zong, I can rest assured. Li Lingtian made some arrangements and saw that it was already late at night. It was time for cultivation. With his current cultivation, he could only set up some simple arrays in the mansion to resist the attacks of experts below the martial emperor realm. Only when one's cultivation had reached the martial arts grandmaster level could one cast a powerful divine array diagram and create a powerful array. At that time, even a martial emperor powerhouse would be killed. All right. We'll be busy for a while. We'll go back first. Huangfu Yuyan and the rest left after Li Lingtian made the necessary arrangements. Qing Ling and Tang Ziming were left behind because they were accompanying Li Lingtian today and could help him refine pills tomorrow. In the county capital, all the warriors basically knew about the existence of the Divine Pill Pavilion. Some experts also had their own plans. In the Black Continent, one had to either join a country or be an itinerant cultivator. Now that a sacred alchemy master had appeared, they would naturally find an opportunity to follow him. Even a fool understood the benefits of following a saint alchemist. Alchemy saint masters had medicinal pills and status. No one dared to provoke them. There were still people who did not curry favor with such a powerful existence. At present, countless powerhouses were looking for an opportunity to approach Li Lingtian, but they had no chance to do so. Furthermore, some of the mysterious powerhouses from the outside were caught off guard by Li Lingtian's sudden appearance. They would not have put any ordinary martial honors or martial emperors in their eyes. However, the person before them was an existence that surpassed a holy alchemist. No one dared to provoke him without knowing his background. In the entire county city, the topic revolved around the saint alchemist, the peerless medicinal pill, and the divine pill pavilion. Half a month had passed. During this time, the county city had already adapted to the existence of the Divine Pill Pavilion. However, the medicinal pills in the Divine Pill Pavilion could not be traded with spirit stones. They could only be traded with precious medicinal herbs. The other option was to join the Divine Pill Pavilion and become a guard of the Divine Pill Pavilion. In the Xian continent it was a world of countries. There were families, but there could not be sections. Most powerful families had guards. This was very normal and allowed by the country. It was normal for a saint alchemist like Li Lingtian to have a guard. However, this guard had to be approved by the country. However, the Divine Pill Pavilion hadn't been approved by Nandu Commandery for a long time. It seemed that they had been delaying the time. However, Li Lingtian did not mind. After all, his appearance was too sudden. Coupled with the current situation in Nandu County, it would be difficult to get the Commandery's king to approve the establishment of a guard force. Although the guards could not be established, there were experts who joined them. It was just that they could not be officially established. Those who could join the Divine Pill Pavilion had to be Martial Royal Realm experts. Those below the Martial Royal Realm were not allowed unless they were heaven-defying talents, had a skill, or were talented in alchemy. In the Divine Pill Pavilion, there were already 300 martial monarchs, 40 martial honors, and even 3 martial emperor powerhouses. These people had all gone through countless tests before staying. Although Li Lingtian had to give them a portion of the elixirs, these people could contribute greatly to the Divine Pill Pavilion. On this day, Li Lingtian's cultivation base had just broken through after refining the pill. Now that his cultivation had reached Tier 6 Warrior Ascendant, he could recover 1 realm per day at an incredible speed. Li Lingtian could clearly feel that his true essence was purer and stronger than his previous Tier 9 Warrior Ascendant. All kinds of improvements were much stronger than before. They were not several times stronger, but between the two they were 2 times stronger. He's already a rank 6 martial arts grandmaster. At this rate, I believe he won't be far from the martial emperor realm. Li Lingtian took a bath at the back of the courtyard while Tang Ziming and Qing Ling helped him change into his clothes. Li Lingtian walked out in a good mood and felt refreshed. During this period, Tang Ziming and Qing Ling were the ones who accompanied Li Lingtian to refine pills. At night, the 5 girls took turns to accompany Li Lingtian as usual. You're now a 6th rank martial arts grandmaster. You look much stronger than when you were in Moonrise City. Qing Ling was by Li Lingtian's side when he was a martial arts grandmaster. Although the timing was not right, Qing Ling could feel that Li Lingtian's strength was much stronger than before. Yes, indeed. I feel that my current cultivation of a rank 6 martial arts grandmaster is equivalent to my previous cultivation of a rank 9 martial arts grandmaster. On the other hand, I've recovered to the peak of the 3rd heaven martial emperor realm. I should be equivalent to the 4th heaven martial emperor realm now. Li Lingtian said conservatively. He was not exaggerating. It should be known that the peak perfection of the 3rd heaven martial emperor realm was only a thin line away from the 4th heaven martial emperor realm. However, this thin line was a world of difference. When big brother Lingtian recovers to the martial emperor realm, it'll be the time for him to dominate Qing Xian. Tang Ziming said happily as she held Li Lingtian's arm. Her proud chest rubbed against Li Lingtian's arm, trapping his arm between her breasts, causing Li Lingtian to feel hot. Although they had been husband and wife for a long time, this feeling had always existed. No matter when, a few girls could give him a strong temptation and satisfaction. Well, the Xian continent is a world of nations. I'll build a powerful empire. When the time comes, I'll let you guys try being an empress. It's fun. We'll go back when we're done. Li Lingtian laughed as well with an evil look on his face. He felt a surge of hot blood in his heart. A man should be able to gallop on the battlefield and conquer the world. This was a man's nature. Although his goal was to live a carefree life, he was also a hot-blooded man. Even though he was obsessed with power, he still found this kind of thing fun. This is really fun. By the way, there won't be many emperors and empresses when the time comes. Qing Ling was also excited. She was just a young girl and naturally, she was interested in playing. Since Li Lingtian had said such a thing, there should be hope for that day to come. Of course, you are all my wives. This world is filled with concubines and empress. I will make you all empress. Li Lingtian said earnestly. Although it was just a matter of status and the girls were not stingy or jealous, Li Lingtian wanted to be fair and would not favor anyone. He wouldn't make anyone sad because they were equally important to him. Tang Ziming and Qing Ling were naturally elated to hear Li Lingtian's words. Tang Ziming was Li Lingtian's fiancée and should be a little jealous. However, she was not jealous at all. She only wanted Li Lingtian to be happy, and she was already satisfied with having these sisters. Young master, there's someone outside requesting an audience. He's already waiting in the hall. He seems to be from Nandu Commandery. At that moment, Li Lingtian and the other two had just come out. They were laughing and laughing happily. However, Xiao quickly walked over and bowed to Li Lingtian before explaining what had happened outside. Tang Qingyu and the others wouldn't do the reception. After all, they were women and didn't want to show their faces. Let's go, we'll go together. Li Lingtian nodded and walked forward. Qing Ling and Tang Ziming quickly went forward to hold Li Lingtian's arm. Naturally, they would not miss out on fun things, especially Tang Ziming. The group of 4 headed to the living room. Xiao explained the appearance and cultivation base of the person on the way, so as to give Li Lingtian some information so that he would not be rude. In the hall, Long Da stood beside the main seat, but he did not sit down. He did not even sit on the other seats. Apart from Long Da, there were 4 other people present. One was a middle-aged martial artist who wore an exquisite crown on his head, symbolizing the crown of the country's ruler. His entire body emitted the aura of a superior. Beside him was a young girl around 17 or 18 years old. Long De recognized this young girl. She was the old Chu Meng. Long De paid special attention to the other two. One of them was a 9th-level martial emperor realm expert, and the other was a 7th-level martial emperor realm expert. Both of them were old men with calm expressions. There was a strange and mysterious aura around them. The four of them arrived together, but the middle-aged man with the crown on his head was extremely respectful to the two old men. After General Long led the four to the living room, he instructed the maidservant to serve them tea while he waited for Li Lingtian's arrival. Time slowly passed. The four of them did not show any signs of impatience and their expressions remained calm. Although Long De knew how powerful Li Lingtian was, he was still proud of himself. He knew that the middle-aged man beside Chu Meng was the king of Nandu County. Even a king was waiting patiently for him. It was obvious how much they respected Li Lingtian. For a saint alchemist to have such a heaven-defying status, it was a testament to the wonders of humanity. Similarly, he was amazed by Li Lingtian's pills. At that moment, sweet laughter could be heard from outside the living room. Li Lingtian's voice could be heard from time to time. When Long De heard these voices, he was instantly relieved. He knew that Li Lingtian and the others had arrived. Chapter 573. The Martial Emperor's Shock, 1. Li Lingtian led Tang Ziming and the other two girls to the living room. He finally understood who the guests were. However, she didn't have any intention of rushing over. She wouldn't even put the king of the kingdom in her eyes, let alone a mere ruler. Not only was the journey relaxed, but it was also filled with laughter. Soon, they arrived at the door of the living room. When they arrived, they had already sensed 3 powerful auras. Although he did not reveal this aura, he could sense that it was a martial emperor powerhouse. Moreover, it was the very powerful kind. However, this might only apply to other powerhouses. In front of Li Lingtian, there was no martial emperor powerhouse who could be considered powerful. Not to mention a martial emperor, even a martial saint powerhouse might not be his match. Now, he was a rank 6 martial arts grandmaster. Even if he was not a match for a martial supreme, he could leave safely. Moreover, Long De had 3 martial saints in this place. They could easily crush a martial monarch realm expert with a finger. Tang Ziming and the other 2 girls walked into the living room. Although they did not smile or speak, there was no awkwardness on their faces, nor was there any restraint or fear. With their knowledge, they did not take these people seriously at all. In their hearts, there was no one to be afraid of where Li Lingtian was. Anyone could be suppressed by Li Lingtian. Haha, sorry to have made everyone wait for so long. It's really too powerful. I'll apologize here first. After Li Lingtian walked into the living room, his gaze swept across the 4 of them before he walked naturally to the main seat and sat down without any pretense. This action stunned the 3 experts. This was too impolite. Although he was the host, it was only right for him to sit at the main seat. However, he had to be polite. However, this young man did not show any courtesy at all, which made them stunned. However, they were all super experts. Naturally, they did not show any of it on their faces. They immediately calmed down. The other party was a saint alchemist, so they naturally had the dignity of a saint alchemist. If they were polite to them, they would not look like a saint alchemist. Sir, you are too polite. We came here rashly and have disturbed you. We hope that you can forgive us. Chu Tianlan also cupped his fists and saluted politely. He did not dare to assume the stance of a country ruler. If he was really so blind, he would not be able to sit still as the country ruler of Nandu Prefecture. He did not address Li Lingtian as a holy alchemist but addressed him as Your Excellency, because he was afraid of losing face. If the other party was not a holy alchemist, where would he put his dignity as the country's ruler? Country ruler is too polite. May I know why country ruler has come this time? Li Lingtian was too lazy to waste his breath on Chu Tianlan. A person like Chu Tianlan was always tactful and roundabout. If you did not mention it, he would not say anything for a day. Although he didn't like such people, that was because of their status and position. I've heard that you have refined a peerless pill. I wonder if that's true. Sorry for being so rude. Let me introduce you, Alchemy Saint. These are the two elders from Qing country, His Excellency Shen Yuan Dao and His Excellency Ping Qinglan. I came here specifically for the matter of Alchemy Saint Master. Please don't take offense. Chu Tianlan had changed the way he addressed Li Lingtian this time. Since Li Lingtian was direct, he could not beat around the bush. If he did not get it, he would be asking for trouble. Following that, he introduced the two elders. They were the core figures of Qing and had come for Li Lingtian. I am Shen Yuan Dao from Qing country. Greetings, Pill Saint. I am Ping Qinglan. Greetings, Alchemy Saint. The two martial emperor powerhouses stood up and greeted him first. Although the young man in front of them was only a martial arts grandmaster, they did not dare to underestimate him. After all, the other party was a saint alchemist with an extraordinary status. Not to mention a mere martial emperor, even a martial saint powerhouse would not dare to offend him easily. He also had a strange feeling that this young martial arts grandmaster gave him. It was as if this young man in front of him was a heaven-defying supreme expert. In front of this young man, he was just an ant. Furthermore, he had come for Qing this time, so he naturally did not dare to mess things up. Even the empire had to treat a saint alchemist with respect. One could imagine the status of a saint alchemist. Moreover, the saint alchemist in front of him was a saint alchemist who refined peerless pills. If they could stay in the Qing kingdom, not to mention the fact that they would have a heaven-defying advantage in the kingdom, even in the entire Shen continent, the Qing kingdom would be famous. If a saint alchemist who could refine peerless pills appeared in a commandery, the other kingdoms and even empires would send people to rope him in. It was too late to curry favor with them. After all, the Shen continent had 3 empires, 36 kingdoms, and 3,000 countries. Qing did not have any advantage at all. Shen Yuan Dao, Ping Qinglan. That's right. Speak. If you have something to say, just say it. I don't like to beat around the bush. Li Lingtian nodded as he had a plan in mind. Chu Tianlan must have invited these two over during this period of time. Moreover, these two were very important members of the Qing kingdom. Otherwise, they would not have been sent here by the king. I have been entrusted by the king to make it inconvenient for you to stay here. I wonder if you are interested in going to Qing. If you are there, no one would dare to offend you. Shen Yuan Dao stood up to speak, but Li Lingtian remained seated with his back against the throne, looking pleased with himself. It was like a master listening to his subordinates report on something. The entire scene looked very strange, but the few of them were not unhappy at all. They did not dare to be unhappy at this time. Tang Ziming and Qing Ling snuggled up to Li Lingtian's left and right. If one did not know, they would definitely think that Li Lingtian was an ignorant and incompetent rich kid. I'm fine here. Go back and tell Shen Yuan Bailing that after I settle some matters, I will go to Qing. Tell him to lock up his army so that he doesn't know what happened when Qing disappears. Li Lingtian did not reply immediately after hearing Shen Yuan Dao's words. Instead, he opened his mouth to eat the fruit that Qing Ling had fed him before speaking at a moderate pace. His tone was so loud that it was frightening. Chu Tianlan and her daughter were instantly shocked. Shen Yuan Bailing was the king of 48 commanderies. He was a supreme existence in Qing. There were many experts below. Chu Tianlan was just an ant in front of the Shen Yuan mausoleum. However, Li Lingtian's tone was filled with a lecturing tone. What kind of concept was this? Even a saint alchemist wouldn't teach a king a lesson like this. Shen Yuan Dao and Ping Qinglan were shocked as well. They had never expected Li Lingtian to be so arrogant. However, as the other party was a sacred alchemist, they held their breaths. If the other party was here to test them and they showed a little displeasure, it would not be a waste of their previous efforts. Understood. I will definitely inform His Majesty. Shen Yuan Dao and Ping Qinglan nodded and replied. They didn't know what to say. Do you recognize this? Li Lingtian looked at the duo and decided not to waste any more time. With a wave of his hand, a token flew out and arrived in front of Shen Yuan Dao. Meng, Tianlan, and the rest were puzzled as they did not know what Li Lingtian was up to. Not only did he avoid the topic, he even threw out a token. However, when they saw Shen Yuan Dao's expression, the father and daughter, as well as Ping Qinglan, were shocked. Shen Yuan Dao took the token and revealed a puzzled expression. Then, he looked at the token. However, the moment he looked at the token, his expression changed drastically and his hands trembled. A 9th-level martial emperor was like a hot potato in his hand. His eyes were filled with shock and fear, followed by excitement. He forcefully circulated his cultivation technique and calmed his mind. He carefully looked at the token, and his eyes revealed an excited light. In his line of sight, the word Shen Yuan appeared on the token. Moreover, there was a mysterious 5-element halo around the word Shen Yuan. The halo did not emit any light, but it represented a kind of identity. In the Shen Yuan family, there were 5 identities. The 5 identities represented the 5 elements. Elite disciples were one of the 5 elements, and they were given tokens according to the attributes of the master. The outer sect elders had 2 types of 5 elements, which were also determined by the attributes of the master. The elders and protectors of the inner sect had 3 types of 5 elements, which were also determined by the attributes of the master. Shen Yuan Bailing was only the 3rd type. The 4th and 5th types could only be possessed by people like the Grand Elder and the family head. However, the token in front of him was actually at the peak of the 5 elements. This represented the Grand Elder, but the young man in front of him was clearly not the Grand Elder. He flipped the token over and saw the 2 words Lingtian engraved on the back of Li Lingtian. This was the name of the owner of the token. His divine sense touched the token, and Shen Yuan Dao's entire body trembled. It wasn't triggered by the restriction inside the token, but it was trembling with excitement. This token represented the identity of the young master of the Shen Yuan family. In other words, this young man was the young master of the Shen Yuan family. The other 3 people saw his expression and changes, and they were all puzzled and shocked. To be able to make a 9th firmament martial emperor like this. He wondered what this token represented. Your subordinate Shen Yuan Dao greets the young master. Young master has crossed the border. We have failed to welcome you. We hope that young master will punish us. At this moment, Shen Yuan Dao could no longer stand steadily. He knelt down and did not dare to raise his head. He lay on the ground with an extremely respectful expression. Meng, Tianlan, and Ping Qinglan were completely stunned. Their minds were blank. What kind of concept was it to be able to make a 9th-level martial emperor kneel? However, Ping Qinglan was the first to react. Although his surname was Ping and not Shen Yuan, his status in Qing Xian was very high. He was extremely loyal to Qing Xian and was one of the few people that the king absolutely trusted. He quickly knelt down and did not dare to say anything else. At this moment, he had lost his direction. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.